cents per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,332 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $55, and the average price of Bitcoin is $14,052. Antiwar.com reports during the bilateral talks between North and South Korea this week, the U.S. Air Force deployed 3 nuclear-capable B-2 Spirit bombers to Guam, along with some 200 airmen. The Guam base has long been seen as the likely staging area for U.S. attacks against North Korea. Adding context to this deployment, while the U.S. never formally objected to the talks, there were reports at the time that the Trump administration was debating carrying out a limited sneak attack against North Korea, though the reports on the attack suggest it was likely to be in the future, likely during the Winter Olympics. The deployment of the U.S. warplanes has doubtless added to military tensions on the Korean Peninsula, even as the negotiations sought to ease them somewhat. Putting nuclear-capable bombers in Guam on the eve of the Winter Olympics, and immediately after President Trump bragged about his nuclear button, doubtless will further inflame concerns throughout the region and serious fear of a war breaking out.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports a Republican lawmaker wants to give permanent residency to approximately 400,000 immigrants in the United States affected by the Trump administration's decision to end the Temporary Protected Status, TPS. But he also wants to end the TPS program entirely. The TPS Act of 2018, introduced by Representative Mike Coffman of Colorado, would end the 28-year-old program while granting permanent legal residency to its recipients from El Salvador, Honduras, Haiti, and Nicaragua. The total number of people that could potentially be granted legal residency is approximately 462,000, many of whom have been in the country for nearly 30 years. In his calls to eliminate TPS altogether, Coffman's bill addresses a major criticism of the program. TPS was created in 1990 to grant temporary residency to people from countries affected by war, natural disasters, and humanitarian disasters until those conditions were improved. But even after conditions improved, the State Department has continually renewed TPS for the program's recipients, prolonging their time in the United States. In effect, many have been in the country legally for decades, and going back to their home country would be an immense hardship. Earlier this week, the Trump administration announced an end to the TPS program for more than 200,000 Salvadorians who have been living in the country legally since 2001, when a major earthquake affected El Salvador. The administration previously announced an end to the TPS program for people from Haiti and Nicaragua. All TPS recipients from El Salvador, Haiti, and Nicaragua were given 18 months to return to their country or apply for other visas to stay in the United States.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Reuters reports the U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday passed a bill to renew the National Security Agency's warrantless internet surveillance program, overcoming objections from privacy advocates. The legislation, which passed 256 to 164 and split party lines, is the culmination of a years-long debate in Congress on the proper scope of U.S. intelligence collection, one fueled by the 2013 disclosures of classified surveillance records by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden. Some lawmakers attempted to persuade colleagues to include more privacy protections. They failed on Thursday to pass an amendment to include a requirement for a warrant before the NSA or other intelligence agencies could scrutinize communications belonging to an American whose data is incidentally collected. Thursday's vote was a major blow to privacy and civil liberties advocates. The bill, as passed by the House, would extend the NSA spying program for 6 years with minimal changes, with some privacy groups saying it would actually expand the NSA's surveillance powers. The Senate will hold a procedural vote on the bill next week after it returns from a break. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Now, a lot of little girls do ballet even though their fathers couldn't care less and don't see what the big deal is. But one talented little prodigy actually choreographed a whole ballet that her father could enjoy and even look forward to. Let's meet Erin Kemper and her father, Jack.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Erin, how did you do that?
I thought about all the things that my dad likes to watch and put it into a ballet.
Well, we have a special treat for you today because Erin is now going to perform her new ballet. When I pay the bills, I get to make the rules.
We can't afford that. World War II. I miss your mother too, but we're going to have to do the best without her. Go Redskins!
Bravo! Well done. Boy, I wish you were mine. You know, my two girls are grown up, but you still couldn't pay me to watch one of their a cappella shows. What inspired you to create this amazing ballet?
I'm really inspired by the theme of my dad paying any attention to me at all.
Now, at the end, I hear she just put the game up on the big screen.
I don't know where she gets it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us right here on the radio and take control of the airwaves at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, so feel free to Skype on in here as well. Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris. And Daryl.
Of course, we've always got stuff to talk about, but if you want to bring up something, you're certainly welcome to do so. On the way here tonight, we've got the details on the good news in Vermont. Unfortunately, we are in New Hampshire. There's a lot of good things about New Hampshire, but we are behind the ball when it comes to marijuana legalization. Vermont now, I believe the Senate has passed the legalization bill.
Yes, they did.
And the governor has pledged to sign it. We'll tell you more about what that's going to look like here in moments. But, Daryl, you had an interesting-sounding story about police searches, some sort of case or cases.
Yeah, actually, a pair of cases. They were heard on Tuesday in the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court has heard the cases, and now we await the rulings. But these could have very broad impacts if they wind up being ruled on in what we would consider to be the good way, or they could also have broad impact if they're ruled on in the bad way. So, you know, these are huge cases. Let me just jump into the article here from Reuters, where they write the U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday wrestled with the scope of police authority to search vehicles without warrants, with Chief Justice John Roberts referencing the shiny red convertible from Ferris Bueller's Day Off to make a serious legal point. The justices heard arguments in two cases in which convicted defendants are seeking to have key evidence against them thrown out because it was obtained by police through vehicle searches conducted without a court-issued warrant. One case involves a stolen motorcycle covered by a tarp and parked on private property near a house in Charlottesville, Virginia. The other case involves a rental car that was stopped by police in Pennsylvania where they found heroin, that car driven by a man whose name was not on the rental agreement, but he had permission from the person whose name was on the rental agreement.
All right.
At issue is whether police in these two cases violated the Fourth Amendment, which protects against unreasonable searches and seizures without a warrant. In the motorcycle case,
it doesn't do a very good job of it.
Right. Right. Just like, you know,
it's just words on paper.
It's not going to wind up protecting you from being unlawfully detained or having your stuff rifled through.
The only way it'll protect
anything.
you is after the fact. In this, like in this case, if the Supreme Court rules in your favor, if you've been willing to escalate all the way through the court system, and if you were able to afford the attorney or found one that was willing to do it for free.
And then been lucky enough for the U.S. Supreme Court
to
pick your case out of the thousands that wind up being petitioned to them every year.
Then it'll protect you. And we don't have a ruling in this case. You're just going to tell us about the cases that they heard.
And, you know, a lot of times people will say, can cops do fill in the blank? Well, they can do whatever they want to. The question is whether or not a judge will say, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, in the meantime, you get to sit in a jail cell in a lot of cases. So, I mean, the protection is pretty hollow. But in theory, the theory is if the Supreme Court kicks back enough cases in the faces of the various police departments that are doing these outrageous searches, that they'll stop doing them. Of course, we haven't really seen any evidence that that's true because they just keep on doing them.
Yeah, in most cases, you'll be your lawyer will tell you to settle for a lesser sentence. So.
Right, because lawyers want easy paydays.
Sure. Absolutely.
The article here says in the motorcycle case, Justice Roberts and others seemed concerned about issuing a broad ruling in favor of law enforcement that would let police not just inspect the immediate area outside of a property without a warrant, but also potentially inside a house if a vehicle was somehow located in there. Under the Fourth Amendment, police need a warrant to search a house unless there's an emergency situation. And again, that's not exactly the wording of the Fourth Amendment. That's been court interpretations of what the Fourth Amendment says.
Now, maybe I misheard what you said earlier. Didn't you say that this motorcycle, the stolen motorcycle, was underneath a tarp in the yard? Or was it in a garage?
Doesn't say that it was in a garage. It says it was on private property next to a house.
Okay, next to a house. That sounds like it's outside.
But still under a tarp. So it's not in plain sight of what is under the tarp.
Right, because there's some certain rules in law, and I'm not an attorney, that have to do with curtilage around the home. Like the police, so long as they can get into that area, like if they're walking around through your yard.
But they can't open up your trash can and rifle through, but if the
in
trash
some states,
can,
I think they can.
If the trash can is knocked over and trash is laying on the street, they can look at
so
that.
So the officer could just go, oopsie, and knock it over.
Is that a more recent ruling? Because I remember, like in the 90s, I'm pretty sure there was a court ruling that said, they're totally legal to search through your garbage can if it's out on the curb.
It depends on the state, as I understand it, because in New Hampshire, if your garbage is in a black garbage bag on the side of the road for pickup, it's still supposedly protected under the right to privacy.
But if the bag is, and this is one of those things to where the minutia is going to change from jurisdiction to jurisdiction.
Yeah, New Hampshire might have additional protections.
By and large, the expectation is, if it's in a thing and there's a lid on it, then they can't rifle through. But if it's, like knocked over, so that garbage bag, if the neighbor's dog rips the bag apart and stuff is strewn about, then that's in plain sight. It can then be looked at.
Yeah, I would check local attorneys, local laws in regards to this. I remember
that's
back
why
down
I said
in Florida.
In general, and the minutia will vary.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to call this minutia. I would say this is a major point. Like if you are, I thought the case was down in Florida where I used to live, that as long as you've put it out at the street, it's fair game for anybody to look through it.
Yeah, that's my recollection
too. It's refuse at that point. You have, by putting it out next to the street, indicated that you no longer want these things, and so therefore anyone who wants to can come right along and take those things. And
that's
so
probably what it is nationally, but then individual states might have protections at the state level.
But then you have weird sort of questions of, what does it mean to be by the street? If it's on your private property between the sidewalk and the street, is that still on your property, or is that by the street?
You'll have to wait and see if the cops look through your crap and arrest you for something.
If it starts, I'm making a different point here. So if it starts just a heavy downpour and somebody yells to their kid, come in from the yard, quit playing, and they jump off of their tricycle, and the tricycle is between the sidewalk and the street, is that then trash that anybody can come take, or is that a child's toy on property? If it's on the house side of the sidewalk, then is that then, I know I can't take that.
I would say it depends on what the judge says.
But here's sort of a...
if the child
here,
but before you go on there,
if there's something laying on somebody's yard between the sidewalk and the street, don't take it unless there's a sign that says free.
I agree with you there. At the same time, if that tricycle or whatever is left right next to a pile of garbage, like garbage cans that are obviously placed out there, for the garbage man the next day, I wouldn't say it's unreasonable for somebody to figure that that is part of the garbage.
Yeah.
And again, it would just depend on, which judge arbitrarily decides in whichever case happens to occur and what the facts are.
Right.
I think that the closer a thing gets to a pile of garbage, the more likely somebody's going to legitimately believe that it is a part of that garbage.
Right. So let's get back to the case here about a motorcycle that was under a tarp on private property next to a house.
We're going to do that coming up here in moments. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. It reminds me of a time when we had a code enforcer snooping around our property here pretty regularly. The same guy that actually searched your room once upon a time.
And still never apologized for waking me up.
He was just doing his job. He's not going to apologize. I remember when he was snooping around, the idea was if your car wasn't registered, that you just put it under a tarp, and then they can't go and lift up the tarp, and because then they would be conducting a search in that case. The toll-free number here is because if they catch your car unregistered in the yard, they could issue you a ticket or a threat or whatever.
Really?
855-450-FREE. That's true in most jurisdictions. 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want. Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding is stopped. The itching is stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Free Talk Live.
We've had people call this show in the past and posit that the declaration of a national emergency essentially opens up all of the loopholes that they can utilize that have been built into the Constitution. Because as Lysander Spooner would put it, the Constitution has either been powerless to prevent this big tyrannical government that we have today.
Sure, a government far beyond the scope that our founders ever, even in the wildest dreams imagined.
Or it has authorized the government that we have today.
I can only assume that that's true. I mean, I used to be this. I can only assume that it's the Constitution that in fact authorizes all of this crap that I thought at one point was unconstitutional. And we are, as I stated, still under a level of martial law that was declared for the Civil War. Everything they're doing is legal, as far as I can tell.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll-free and join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. We're talking about what I consider to be a pretty important topic, and that is police searches. It's an area that a lot of people don't know their rights. You don't get taught your rights in government school when it comes to police searches, and how in a lot of cases you can say no to a police search. And we haven't gotten into much of the detail of the two cases that are in front of the Supreme Court this year regarding police searches and how far they can legally go. We're going to continue and get deeper into that coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts are also welcome. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. If the cops are going to be searching your property, it's actually a pretty good idea to have a home security system installed, because then you will have the evidence of the police who searched. And if you're using the Blink Home Security System, since that is an internet-based system, meaning that there's not a DVR that's in your home. Now, there's some ups and downs to this, right? Like if there's a DVR in your home with one of the fancier systems, then you've got the footage right there on your property. But the downside of having the footage right there on your property is if the cops come in for a search, they unplug your DVR and take it with them. Or they could if they wanted to, in which case then the police have all the footage of them searching your home. Whereas if you are using the Blink Home Security System, it's going to be sending clips of those searches going on up to your account there on their server, and then it goes to your smartphone for your review. You can download them at will. BlinkProtect.com/FTL is where you can go to get your Blink Home Security System, and they are shockingly affordable. You can get 3 Blink cams for what some of the other guys will charge you for 1. The setup is super easy because the cameras are wireless, and it's all done with your favorite Wi-Fi enabled device like a smartphone or a tablet. Head over to blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live, as we go to your calls and thoughts. Vernon is on the line to start things out here tonight in New Orleans. Vernon, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead. Vernon, are you with us? I hear somebody there. Vernon going once. Vernon going twice. We may have some kind of a button not pushed perhaps on the network side of things. We're going to check back with Vernon here in moments. And again, if you want to join us, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So I think you were just getting into telling us about the motorcycle case.
Yes.
There's 2 cases. This is the first of 2 that the
yes.
Supreme Court
Again,
said.
in the motorcycle case, Justice Roberts and others seemed concerned about issuing a broad ruling in favor of law enforcement that would let police not just inspect the immediate area outside of a property without a warrant, but potentially inside the house if a vehicle was located there. In the case of convicted defendant Ryan Collins, the motorcycle was a few feet from his house. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, starring Matthew Broderick, 3
Great
teenagers.
Movie.
Yes, it is. 3 teenagers skip school and take a ride in a red Ferrari that was parked inside a showroom-type space, apparently attached to a house. After mentioning the film's car, Roberts asked Trevor Cox, the state of Virginia's lawyer who was defending the search, whether he was arguing that police can just go into a house without a warrant if a car, which is mobile, got in there somehow. Roberts also mentioned comedian Jay Leno, known for storing a large collection of cars in his large garage connected to his house. Other justices voiced similar concerns, including Neil Gorsuch, who seemed troubled about police officers being able to search garages and other outbuildings without a warrant. Gorsuch told Cox,
not many people live in their garage. Some people do, and in barns, but usually those are reserved for cars and animals. And you're suggesting that in those places the police can just go search without a warrant? Cox said existing legal precedent allowing police to search vehicles without a warrant when they had probable cause should extend to vehicles kept on private property, potentially even those inside a garage.
Wow.
Although he said that the court could exclude quote-unquote dwellings. But again, how do you define dwelling?
I mean, there was a guy who wanted to live in our garage here that we know. I won't say who it is. But
right. So again, how do you define dwelling? Police were looking for the
place
driver
where you dwell.
Right, but what exactly does that mean? Do you have to have
think about something? I don't know.
Do you have to have a kitchen and a bathroom? What about people that live in tiny houses that have outdoor showers? Now, you're not necessarily going to have a vehicle inside of a tiny house, but you could, in theory, have an electric bike, which is a self-propelled vehicle.
Now, I've never been to the Supreme Court in D.C., but I've been to the New Hampshire Supreme Court and watched a few of their hearings, as have you, Daryl.
Yes.
And they are always good about asking tough questions, it seems. And I presume that the national level ones are probably pretty good at that as well. And you don't always get a good feel for, like, how they feel on the issue, because they try to throw tough questions at both sides, in my experience.
True.
Every now and then it seems like you can get
at least at the national level. And I'm sure if we paid attention very closely to state-level court rulings, we could figure out who the quote-unquote conservative judges are and who the quote-unquote liberal judges are. Mm-hmm. At the national level, that's pretty well known of here's the conservatives, here's the liberals, and this is the swing vote.
Right.
So, you know, the reporters here, they have a pretty good understanding of, is this guy just asking a tough question, or is he sort of throwing his opinions into the question a little bit? Because we can figure that out when we go to the State House, where oftentimes we testify on legislation and then state reps will ask questions. You can tell who's peppering in their thoughts into the question and who's just asking a tough question for the sake of asking a tough question.
Usually they say, would you believe that I believe? And then they say whatever they want to say. It's not an actual question.
Right. But so in this case, police were looking for the driver of a motorcycle who had on 2 occasions evaded police pursuits. It turned out to be Collins, who was later convicted of receiving stolen property. The second case involved a defendant named Terrence Bird, who was stopped by police in 2014 while driving a car his girlfriend had rented. Police said that they could legally search the car without his consent or a warrant because he was not listed on the rental agreement.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, was the car reported stolen?
It was not.
Okay. It would seem to me that if the car was reported stolen, they would have probable cause that a crime had been committed, in which case then they could search, they could arrest him or detain him and, search
it's like possession is 9/10 of the law, yet not in this case, right? I mean, I don't know.
Well, if I go rent a car from Alamo and then you're driving the car, wait a second, why are you driving? Your name's not on the agreement.
Now, that may not be something that Alamo allows. I don't know what the rules are as far as somebody else taking the wheel of a car. I presume it's against the rules of whatever the private agreement says. But the police aren't there to enforce the private agreement, or at least they shouldn't be there to enforce a violation of that private agreement. If Alamo thinks that you violated their agreement, then there are other ways for them to handle that. And, of course, in this case, Alamo did not call the police. They just happened to pull this dude over, right?
Right.
So we'll talk more about that case.
Yeah, it doesn't say why he was pulled over.
All right, we'll get into it coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. Police searches. If you've had an experience with the police searching you that you want to explain to us, you're welcome to join us here. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us right here. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Into cryptocurrency and freedom, you're going to love Anarchapulco. It's coming up in just over a month from now. It's happening February 15th through the 18th in Acapulco, Mexico, at the beautiful Princess Resort. And I asked, do you like cryptocurrency? Because the final day of Anarchapulco is called Cryptopulco, And all of the speeches that will be presented, all of the discussions will be about cryptocurrency-related topics. And then, of course, there's plenty of freedom-oriented topics on the other days from great speakers, including Ron Paul. That's right, Ron Paul will be heading up the speakers list. He is the keynote address, but also we got other great speakers like G. Edward Griffin, Jeffrey Tucker, Roger Ver, Larkin Rose, Jeff Berwick, Bruce Fenton, Brett Venant, Julia Taransky, Dana Martin, Juan Galt, Adam Kokesh, Kerry Wedler, Vit Yedlika, and Sterling Lujan. You can go and get more details over at anarchapulco.com and use code FTL to get yourself 10% off of your regular tickets. There are other tickets available for related events that will be happening at around the same time frame, like the Health and Wellness Retreat, Change Media University with Luke Radowski, and more. Go and get all the details over at anarchapulco.com, and don't forget code FTL. And it's not just speeches and stage discussions. It's also live music and parties and networking. It's really a great libertarian, fun event in Acapulco, Mexico. Again, February 15th through the 18th. Use code FTL for 10% off over at anarchapulco.com. As we continue, we will take your calls and thoughts about what you want. We're going to give Vernon one more try. Our board op says that there was some technical difficulties there. Vernon, you're with us now. Go ahead.
Hey, Ian, how'd the trial go? I didn't hear if I need to listen to a podcast, tell me where to listen, but I was just curious how the plates trial went that you had.
Well, so the video is not yet officially uploaded, although actually, Chris, you've uploaded it somewhere. I don't know if it's public yet. But
it's public, I think, technically, but it's probably not easy to find.
That's your kind of edition of it that you just threw the raw footage up online.
Yeah, it's just the raw footage, and it might be hard to hear with the audio.
Right, so that's not there yet. The one that I put up will boost the audio, make sure that it's as good as it can possibly be, considering it's just a courtroom, and we didn't have an official feed from the court, so it's just a mic in a room. But I got found guilty. I got the notice from the court today in the mail, so sentencing to come at the end of February. And meanwhile, I could file a motion to put it on file or something like that.
They mail you the verdict? They don't just tell you in person?
Well, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the judge will do what they call take it under advisement.
Yeah, what was the result of that?
I was found guilty.
Did you get an answer as to...
Yeah, I could pull up the actual statement from the judge, but basically he said that, so for listeners that don't know, I was pulled over for misuse of plates. This was not quite a year ago, but I think it was like April of last year. Daryl, you were there with me
Yes.
when this happened. We'd been driving in the RAV here that I'd purchased that wintertime. Or the church, I guess, owns it. But anyway, we'd been driving around in this thing, and I'd put the Shire plate on the back of it just to see how many miles we could go before we got pulled over for it. Because it always happens. I've had the Shire plate, which is like an actual embossed-looking, very nice-looking plate, which you can get these things online. Anyway, I've had this thing for more than a decade, so I've done this on a couple of occasions where I'll just put the Shire plate on and start and hit the mileage, counter thing just to see how many miles I can get. Once I made it 30 miles, so I was really pleased when I made it 2,950 miles this time without it happening. And so they pulled us over. There were a bunch of cops. We do have some video of this footage or video of this incident. And I will be putting that out there once I can put all the video together. So we'll put the trial together and the video of the incident, and put it all out there once we get the sentence, once the whole thing is wrapped up. And so got a misuse of plates ticket, but on the ticket it actually cites the wrong RSA.
Yeah. So what did the judge wind up?
That's the interesting part.
Do you have the ruling somewhere handy?
I do.
Because I would love to see what the judge has to say about the fact that they wound up citing the completely wrong statute.
Yes, you will love to hear what this judge has to say. Because we
put down that you violated this other thing, even though that's not actually what you violated. Right. So therefore, we're finding you guilty anyway.
In court, the judge acted disappointed in the police when he found out. Because I objected. When the cop was up on the stand, I said, "Officer, is everything in this complaint true and correct?" And he said, "Yes." And so I said, "Well, I'm motioning to dismiss this case because it's not true and correct. You've got the wrong statute number in here for misuse of plates." They had some sort of statute for automotive recycling dealers. It had nothing whatsoever.
Right.
It wasn't even close, And so the judge looked like he was a little frustrated at that moment. But ultimately, then he said he was going to take it under advisement, which when a judge says that usually means there's a chance you're going to get a not guilty.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Simply because the judge, if they want to find you guilty, they'll find you guilty right then most of the time.
Right.
But if there's a chance they won't find you guilty, they don't want to find you not guilty in front of the audience. So there's people in there that aren't, our people who are just there for their own trial.
Because then people see some of the secrets that wind up winning court cases.
Well, I don't know what those secrets are, but they would certainly see somebody having success in court. Which
right. The secret is you wind up realizing, oh, the cop wrote down the completely wrong statute. You ask this series of questions, and then you motion to dismiss.
I probably should have motioned to strike the witness in that case, and I didn't. And Melanie was there with me, too, so she could have told me that, and she didn't. She was my standby counsel. But anyway, here's what the judge said about this. So this is the order in the case. The defendant made, and it's always hard to read Judge Chicken Scratch, the defendant made an oral motion to dismiss at trial based upon the fact that the complaint had incorrectly cited the statute for misuse of plates, which is the charge the complaint was brought upon. The state objected. The court took the motion under advisement. The citation on the complaint to the specific statute number is not a part of the body of the complaint. It is not a part of the body of the complaint and is for informational purposes only.
But hold on. Wow. I've always been told that the ticket is the complaint.
That's right. And the complaint was misuse of plates is what the judge is arguing here. They just messed up the number. That was just for your informational purposes only.
Wow. And even on maybe I'm not remembering this correctly, but even on the court paperwork that they sent you listing the charges, didn't they also list the incorrect RSA?
I don't know anything about that. That's a good question. I've never heard of that. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, because I know that I had a case several years ago in Keene District Court where the court paperwork saying, you have trial on X date, here are the charges against you. They had like disobeying an officer and something else that I totally had never been charged with, and I wound up striking to dismiss, and the judge said, well, I'm going to let the prosecutor change it, but one day, prosecutor, you're going to make a mistake in an important case.
Yeah. So, Vernon, did that answer your question?
It does. What about that other guy that was on your show you had interviewed concerning the thing in Ohio with the marijuana?
Oh, Ademo. Yeah, I sent him a message last night. You're talking about Ademo Freeman.
Oh, yeah, he had court yesterday, right?
He did. You're talking about Ademo Freeman, the founder of CopBlock.org, who got busted last year with 20 pounds of marijuana. We thought it was 26, but apparently it was 20. He corrected that recently on the show. And they made him an offer, of course, for a plea deal. He turned that offer down and decided to go to trial. That trial was scheduled for yesterday, and I sent him a message last night asking if he was in a cage. And he said that the trial had been continued. They've got some motions or something that that he wants to file, or I forget exactly what he said. But the trial was continued, ironically enough, until April 19th and 20th.
All right, great. And then one last question. What is the damage that can be done because you were found guilty?
It's a $150 fine, so I could spend a day in jail, or I could probably, possibly get a
15 hours community service.
15 hours of community service in that case. I could also motion to put it on file, which would mean that no sentence would be imposed unless there was further violations. So there are options still at this point. Vernon, thanks for the call and the questions tonight. I appreciate it. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas. No. Yes, that's him. Go ahead. Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenix commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenix really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenix.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text the word PRIME44 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial in toll-free to bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Daryl.
Of course, you can bring up what you want. We're going to get back into the story about the Supreme Court cases that they're looking at the police being able to search not inside your home necessarily, but perhaps in the curtilage around the home with things that have been covered up.
Possibly inside the house if a vehicle were in there somehow.
That's
and the
the
cops
argument. Yeah.
have the right to look inside a vehicle.
That is the argument being made by the prosecutor in this particular case. We'll tell you more, or there's two cases, and we'll tell you more about that coming up here. And you can, of course, share your thoughts with us. We've also got different ways for you to interact with Free Talk Live and the listeners of the program. This week, I've been blown away. I want to say just absolutely blown away by the amount of participation we've had in the new Discord chat that we launched this week. Now, I know you're going to be upset, Chris, and I'm just going to say straight out, I realize the downside of these things like Discord is they're centrally controlled. There's some sort of organization or company that's behind this, that if they go out of business, then that software's gone. It is not something that you can run on your own server. It's not something that we can spin up. We have a Discord server, but it's on their machine somewhere, wherever that is. It's not on our server. It's not like server
You're not
software.
able to run your own
Correct.
server.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's completely centralized. But that said, it's being used. There's a lot of people on there. It's much better than like a Facebook or a Slack or something like that, in that Discord, for those that aren't familiar, is very similar to IRC, like Internet Relay Chat, which goes back way back to the days of when the Internet was text only, where there was no graphical user interface. That's how far back IRC chat goes. And LRN.FM, which is our Liberty Radio Network and Free Talk Live, we've had an IRC chat room, I don't know for how many years, probably from the beginning or darn close to the beginning. Certainly as long as LRN's been around, we've had it. And this Discord, it kind of takes chat to the next level in that it adds a voice option to it. It was made for gamers. It was made for people who are, in a multiplayer video game, and they need to know where the other team members are so they can get more headshots or whatever, right? So it was made for gamers. And so it's got that instant kind of, there's no real delay or no noticeable delay in the transmissions of the audio.
Hold on. So Discord's not just a chat room?
Discord is a series of chat rooms. So our
but
LRN
you're talking
Discord,
about audio.
It's audio and it's text. So
Okay.
they have audio rooms and they have text rooms in the Discord server. And so like right now on the LRN.FM Discord, it doesn't appear that anybody's chatting in one of the audio rooms, which makes sense. If these are listeners of the show, it would be a little distracting to actually speak to people while you're trying to listen to the show feed. But they are talking. They are going into the text chat rooms, and talking there during the show, and then after the show, you'll see some of the listeners will get into an audio chat, and they'll just keep talking about stuff with one another. So. What do you know? The listeners don't just want to listen. They want to talk to one another. And they didn't really want to use the IRC chat room because it was taken over by Cantwell trolls a while back, and it wasn't really anything else besides a troll zone before. And I don't know how long this is going to be before it turns into a troll zone. But regardless, right now it's fun. People are enjoying each other's company, and the chats go on all night long. It's not just during the Free Talk Live episodes or during the Call to Freedom, which are the two shows that have their own specific rooms. So there's a couple of show-specific rooms in there, and then there's more sort of for all the podcasts that are heard on LRN, and then there's there's a gaming discussion room, and then there's a cryptocurrency discussion room, and basically we can add in whatever kind of rooms that we want to this, and so you can add in as many voice chat rooms or text chat rooms as you want. So if anybody's ever used Slack or Riot, these are text chat delivery systems. And although Riot does have a voice system, this is much easier to use.
It's not the same thing, though, is what you're describing from the
It's not exactly the same, no. And this is super easy to use. It's super easy to get into. If you want to check it out, you can go to discord.lrn.fm. That'll take you right to the Discord invite link. It's easy to get an account on the server, email and password, and you're in. So check it out when you get the chance. Oh, yeah, I wanted to mention that just the tremendous number of people that have gotten involved this week. 25 people are in there right now. 45 are offline. So we've had 70 people sign up for this in the last few days. This hasn't been on more than 3 nights in a row. So I guess the radio works, right? We say something on the air, and hey, you should check this out. It's pretty cool. And it is pretty cool. So anyway, and it's free, discord.lrn.fm, and it kind of ties in with our new Twitch video feed as well, because a lot of the people on Twitch also have their Discord. So the people that stream on Twitch, which is 99% video game streaming, they have their own Discord where people hang out there, and their fans there talk on their Discord. So we're kind of doing the same thing here, and it's working.
And I think Twitch is trying to get stuff other than video gaming, because weren't they recently purchased by Amazon?
They were, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but yeah, they are. They did expand out, and I don't know when this happened, but probably more recently, to include other forms of streaming. Because when I signed up for Twitch, I was like, well, I mean, I know our listeners are asking us to be here, but I don't know if we really belong. It's a gaming site. And so then I looked around and I found those other categories. There's actually a talk shows category, and there's an IRL in real life category where people go outside and go shopping or make some food in their kitchen. So,
yeah, I know there's a wrestling podcast that I listen to where they upload some content to Twitch. But I've never actually watched any of the Twitch stuff.
I mean, what is Twitch and what's the benefit of it? I mean, I guess it's
basically
it's a gamer streaming platform.
It's just streaming video.
There's speculation that Amazon is trying to compete with YouTube, and by buying Twitch, that's going to allow them to do that.
How does it differ from like YouTube streaming? I forget what it's called.
It started because it was
by
gaming.
A different company.
Okay.
Let me
and
start
it
from
has
the
different terms of service.
So, but that's
so it's just a competitor to Facebook and YouTube.
No, okay. So it was started by a different company, whatever Twitch was originally before it was owned by Amazon, for the purposes of doing gaming streaming. Now you don't play video games.
I don't.
So this, let me give you an explanation here. Back when I was growing up in the 90s, all the gamer kids thought it would be the coolest thing ever to get paid to play video games.
Yeah.
But you could not get it. There was no jobs that paid you to play video games except for video game reviewer, which there was only a few of those for like the magazines that were out. So you knew you weren't going to get that job. And then beta tester. So you could go and like work for software design firms, and you get to play video games, but they're broken, so you have to write down all the bugs that you find. So that would have been the only way you could make money off of playing video games.
Right.
Yeah, my brother was into that. He wanted to get a job doing that.
And now, thanks to not only the internet for making video game streaming possible and more gameplay, more possible online multiplayer and all that, it has also, because gaming has become so huge, as far as gaming is bigger than, as far as billions of dollars is the market share, bigger than Hollywood films. And it's been that way for years now.
Right. There's even a cable network dedicated to like video. The G4 network. Yeah. It's all about gaming.
That's how big
that used to be tech, and then it moved to gaming. That was like, I think that was back in early 2000s.
We're going to get one of the Twitch. Go ahead.
Do you remember the movie The Wizard? About the video game guy
from the 1980s,
the Power Glove.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Okay. So but you never played games back then in the 80s?
Oh no, back in the 90s, early 90s and late 80s, yeah, definitely.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So so the Wizard is actually like real now, where they have game tournaments and stuff, and they have like professional gamers. Right? No, they have like professional gamers who go and play video games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like
people
the
sit there and
World
watch
Cup
them.
of gaming.
I've heard of them. I've heard of people being paid to play video games, like the very top gamers, but.
And they compete against each other in tournaments.
And
it's crazy.
I know, like, there's YouTubers that do the whole gaming thing.
That's what this is. So Twitch started for games only, right? So there were probably YouTubers doing gaming, and then Twitch figured...
PewDiePie.
Yeah, Twitch, he was like the #1 YouTube for a long time, right? Maybe he still is. I don't know. But anyway, so Twitch saw this, was like, oh, this is popular. Let's create a video game only gaming streaming site. And so then anybody who's got the equipment to do it can go and start streaming their video gaming, whether it's their PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and then they usually have like a picture of them, sort of picture in picture within the stream. So you see them playing the game as the large part of the screen, and then there's a picture in picture down there that shows their reactions, right?
And I think YouTube was removing a bunch of videos for like copyright violations because you're showing a video game that you don't own the IP to.
Now that's an interesting discussion, and I actually want to have one of the Twitchers on to talk about that very thing at some point in the future. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
BuySellMakeOffer.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com. You got it?
BuySellMakeOffer.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, January 12th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,332 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $55, and the average price of Bitcoin is $14,052. Antiwar.com reports during the bilateral talks between North and South Korea this week, the U.S. Air Force deployed 3 nuclear-capable B-2 Spirit bombers to Guam, along with some 200 airmen. The Guam base has long been seen as the likely staging area for U.S. attacks against North Korea. Adding context to this deployment, while the U.S. never formally objected to the talks, there were reports at the time that the Trump administration was debating carrying out a limited sneak attack against North Korea, though the reports on the attack suggest it was likely to be in the future, likely during the Winter Olympics. The deployment of the U.S. warplanes has doubtless added to military tensions on the Korean Peninsula, even as the negotiations sought to ease them somewhat. Putting nuclear-capable bombers in Guam on the eve of the Winter Olympics, and immediately after President Trump bragged about his nuclear button, doubtless will further inflame concerns throughout the region and serious fear of a war breaking out.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports a Republican lawmaker wants to give permanent residency to approximately 400,000 immigrants in the United States affected by the Trump administration's decision to end the Temporary Protected Status, TPS. But he also wants to end the TPS program entirely. The TPS Act of 2018, introduced by Representative Mike Kaufman of Colorado, would end the 28-year-old program while granting permanent legal residency to its recipients from El Salvador, Honduras, Haiti, and Nicaragua. The total number of people that could potentially be granted legal residency is approximately 462,000, many of whom have been in the country for nearly 30 years. In his calls to eliminate TPS altogether, Kaufman's bill addresses a major criticism of the program. TPS was created in 1990 to grant temporary residency to people from countries affected by war, natural disasters, and humanitarian disasters until those conditions were improved. But even after conditions improved, the State Department has continually renewed TPS for the program's recipients, prolonging their time in the United States. In effect, many have been in the country legally for decades, and going back to their home country would be an immense hardship. Earlier this week, the Trump administration announced an end to the TPS program for more than 200,000 Salvadorians who have been living in the country legally since 2001, when a major earthquake affected El Salvador. The administration previously announced an end to the TPS program for people from Haiti and Nicaragua. All TPS recipients from El Salvador, Haiti, and Nicaragua were given 18 months to return to their country or apply for other visas to stay in the United States.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Reuters reports the U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday passed a bill to renew the National Security Agency's warrantless internet surveillance program, overcoming objections from privacy advocates. The legislation, which passed 256 to 164 and split party lines, is the culmination of a years-long debate in Congress on the proper scope of U.S. intelligence collection, one fueled by the 2013 disclosures of classified surveillance records by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden. Some lawmakers attempted to persuade colleagues to include more privacy protections. They failed on Thursday to pass an amendment to include a requirement for a warrant before the NSA or other intelligence agencies could scrutinize communications belonging to an American whose data is incidentally collected. Thursday's vote was a major blow to privacy and civil liberties advocates. The bill, as passed by the House, would extend the NSA spying program for 6 years with minimal changes, with some privacy groups saying it would actually expand the NSA's surveillance powers. The Senate will hold a procedural vote on the bill next week after it returns from a break. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Calling it the most effective means to reaching one's full earning potential. A new report issued by the Employee Benefit Research Institute this week found that violently slamming one's supervisor against a wall and shouting, "Cash, I need more cash," is still the leading tactic for securing a raise amongst American workers.
We found that employees have the most success negotiating their salaries when they stride confidently into their supervisor's office, manhandle them like a rag doll, and demand more money right now.
Experts confirmed that the majority of employees who managed to increase their salaries maintained direct eye contact with their supervisors while reiterating that they were not f***ing around, emphasizing their position with phrases such as, "Give me the money now," and "I said more cash, old man." The Onion sat down with Kevin Simmons, who recently applied these methods in negotiating a competitive bump in his annual salary.
So the other day I walked right into his office, grabbed his throat with my hand, and told him straight up, "Start paying me more f***ing money today." And I grabbed $100 out of his wallet and told him that was a good start.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, and we've got Skype as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM. And joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Daryl.
Somebody actually in the Discord chat that we were just talking about a moment ago suggested that we take Discord calls, and I said, well, I don't know how you'd do that. So if that's possible, I'd be willing to consider it. Now, there's the chat rooms in there, which are just sort of an open chat, and I wouldn't want to do that because the problem there is if you just go into an open chat, well, then any jackball can come in, number one. But there's also audio issues where people have different mic levels. And so the first night when this Discord thing, we started the new LRN.FM Discord, I was testing out one of the voice chats, and one of the guys that was in there was really low in his levels compared to Stefan in Ohio, who sounded great. And so doing that on the air would have been impossible. It would have been impossible to ride the gain to make that sound good at all.
Is there a way you could set a secret chat and then invite individual people that wind up posting in, like the regular chat?
It's probably easier
than come on the air.
It's probably easier than you think. It's probably just like clicking on somebody's name and calling them or something.
Invite to secret chat.
We'll see. They probably know a whole lot more than I do about this. But we were just talking about it moments ago on the air, this Discord and Twitch, and you had questions about it, Chris, as a non-gamer. As to what Twitch was. And it is a platform to allow video streaming of video games that anybody can go, as long as you've got the equipment to. If your computer's strong enough to provide a video stream, then you can do this. And so you can create an account, you can stream, and then you can presumably somehow promote that. Obviously, we have a radio show, so it's a little easier to promote twitch.lrn.fm, which is where you can go and see us in HD, which you couldn't do on YouTube before, but we're now in HD on Twitch.
Oh, interesting.
It allows these streamers to actually monetize their gaming, which is coming back around to what I was saying before, was like in the 1990s when we were growing up, you couldn't get a job playing video games. You could get a job at a video game store, and then in that case, you can go home at night and play some video games on your own time, and the store expects you to do that, so you know something about the games and you can talk to your customers. But again, that's still not the same thing as actually getting paid to play video games. Well, I don't know how many of the people who are on Twitch, because there's like probably I think a couple million streamers. I think I was reading when I was signing up for it. They have 15. The last numbers I saw, it was like 15 million viewers and 2 million streams. So there's actually a large number of streamers on that platform. So how many of them have more than 10 viewers or 5 viewers at any given time? I don't know. I suspect some of them are very, very popular, but others aren't.
I'm still trying to figure out what the motivation or interest is, especially amongst little kids, apparently, of watching other people play games.
Yeah, it's
because then you learn sometimes people will watch because then you can learn the tricks of how to do certain things.
Okay.
That's one. That would be
one reason. It's like when we were kids, you would find a copy of Video Game Magazine. Oh, here's the cheat code to where I can do fill in the blank.
Yeah, but now you can read Video Game Frequently Asked Questions, and those have been around forever, where you can actually get all the details. You're not going to get that necessarily from watching a gameplay.
I don't want to read
I see what you're
blog
saying.
about how to play the game. I want to see how to play the game.
Like video of like the actual controller and everything, which I bet you they do. I could see it being easier to do via a stream of some kind, but I'm still I'm not a gamer, so I'm not.
Yeah, let me answer you the question of why, because Daryl gave you one possible example, but I'll tell you why I've done it. Because I've watched people play video games on YouTube and to a lesser extent Twitch. I'm pretty new to Twitch. I've been on as a viewer for the last couple of months, but just kind of trying it out. And the reason for me is like, not only do you get to see games that you otherwise probably wouldn't take the time to play. Meaning that, we're busy. You and I, we're business owners.
I don't got time for games.
We can fill our schedule with as much work as we want to. But every now and then, it's good to take a little time out for yourself. It's good to have a little relaxation, a little leisure time. But you don't want to commit to a whole game, right? Like you don't want to. These games that come out these days, a lot of them are 60 hours long, right? They're 40, 50, 60 hours long. If they're charging $60 for a game, they want to build a lot of playtime into these games for people. And so if you don't have the time to dedicate to getting into a game and playing it through, you can just spend, if you got 20 minutes while you're eating dinner or whatever, you can just watch somebody else play a video game if you want to. It's essentially the same kind of entertainment as watching a television program. It's just not as well produced. You're just getting to see the game and the gamers' reactions, and it gives you a taste of what that game is like. Or if you're really into the game, but you just don't feel like playing it, you can watch somebody else play it who's probably better than you at playing the game.
I'm so glad that I can only handle the old school games, because I actually managed to waste. I actually did play. I did play a game here recently, an old school game, and I managed to waste 2 whole days basically not getting any work done.
What was the game?
It was. I don't know if I want to say. Well, okay, I'll say
it. Embarrassing?
No. It was SimCity.
Oh, the original?
Yeah.
Were you running an emulator?
Because
that's going back to 1989.
I don't want to go into details of what I was doing.
Okay.
Wasn't doing in regards to it, but it was addicting.
School.
It was addicting. I mean, it did wear off after 2 days, I would say, just because I kind of won the game, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
how do you win the Sims?
Well,
SimCity, different game.
What's the difference?
SimCity.
Oh, one's in the city and one's not in the city?
So originally there was SimCity back in, I think it was like 1989.
Oh, wait, is that the stupid thing where you create a town and then it says you need to raise taxes?
There's residential.
It's a socialist propagandist dream because it forces you to have taxes, otherwise you can't have a library.
Yeah. You got to build the police stations.
You
and
have
fire
to centrally plan everything.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it.
Susie just moved to town. What job does Susie have?
That was black and white on a Macintosh or whatever way back in the day. like way back in
I
the day.
remember that time I died of dysentery playing the Oregon Trail.
So that was, of course, that game actually continues to today. The Oregon Trail just continues to be like remade and remade.
Are they still making new versions?
Yes.
Wow.
And
I remember
know
that game in the 80s.
I found old school version of Oregon Trail online where it's still the text-based sort of thing, and you can play online.
Yeah, archive.org, I believe is the one who does that, right?
There's
I don't know if that's where I found it.
Just look for abandonware. That's the term you want to use, and then there's whole websites devoted to archiving abandonware.
If I'm not mistaken, archive.org has an exclusive exception to the rule of basically hosting old games. Like abandoned games, and whereas it would be a copyright violation for pretty much anybody else.
The argument is these companies are out of business now that made this game, or it's a company that just doesn't support that game anymore, and these games are so old you can't buy them in any sort of new format. And so what the argument is, legally, we're putting these games online. If you don't like it, if you're the copyright holder and you say you're still marketing this game and you want us to take it down, we'll take it down. So they're erring on the side of this is really abandoned software and no one cares about it anymore, so we're going to put it online. That's what those archives are doing.
Found a website, classicreload.com.
Okay. May or may not be good. I've not used that one. I don't know. But there's a lot of old software out there that just those companies are gone.
Oh
at
yeah,
this point.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to track down who owns the copyright to them in most cases.
Right.
It's the assets probably are owned by somebody. It's just
probably, but they're
the people who own them
vault.
may not even know that they own the assets.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's that
that's how useless they are. They have no value. They basically have no value.
I don't know if they have no value.
If they had value, they would try to market them.
If the people who own the rights don't even know they own the rights to it. Because they bought companies that 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 bought companies.
Basically have no value, right? Like if you've bought so much stuff, you don't even know what you have.
I mean, I don't know.
You hold so much property, you don't even realize what you're holding. I mean, I guess you could say that other people value it, but the company doesn't, obviously.
Well, I mean, there was still maybe a way to make profit off it if somebody actually had the interest.
But they don't value it enough to figure out how.
If they even know they have, they might not even know they have.
They don't value what their assets are to even inventory them to know what they are. That's how valueless they are. 855-450 free like freedom. You can bring up what you want here, whether it's gaming or whatever.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency but feel overwhelmed by the high price of Bitcoin? Or maybe you've used Bitcoin in the past, but were turned off by the high transaction fees and slow transfer times. It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital international money that you can send anywhere, anytime for less than a nickel. With Dash, your transactions can be instant and private. Dash offers a fully incentivized and decentralized peer-to-peer network where miners are rewarded for keeping the network fast, strong, and safe for its users. Start your journey at Dash.org. Since its launch in 2014, Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world and is showing no signs of stopping. Check out Dash.org for more information about Dash and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of
where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free here. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Daryl.
We've gone from talking about police searches to online video game streaming, and we never finished the police search story, so we got to get back into that.
And I've got some twitching numbers.
Yes, we'll get to that as well. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. One of the other topics we love here on Free Talk Live is cryptocurrency. And there are a bevy of choices and options out there in the world of cryptocurrency. Over 1,000, I think 1,300 the last time I looked at CoinMarketCap, that they would all love for you to buy into their system, into their network. So how do you make the decision? How do you choose where to put your hard-earned money? I can't recommend any investment options because I don't know anything about it, but I do know that I'm excited about Zencash because of the philosophy behind the coin. Now, anybody can copy cool stuff as far as technology in the cryptocurrency world because it's open, so it's all open source, or almost all of it.
How many coins did you say you thought there were?
1,300.
I'm looking right now, 1,427.
Okay. Yeah, it was like 1,370 the last time I looked.
Now, some of these, they have unknown market caps, so...
Right. Questionable.
So there's nobody trading it.
How many coins are there? We don't know, but they have prices, which is very, very strange.
Zencash.com is where you can go to learn more about Zencash, which launched in 2017. It's got the technology that you're probably looking for, like anonymity in the form of zero-knowledge anonymity. That is the what was created with originally Zcash, and they borrowed that for Zencash. But they also added in, or are adding in, a decentralized autonomous organization, or more than one of them, to help govern the coin. And so they've taken some of the best technology from some of the other cryptocurrencies out there. But what was really noteworthy to me was that they talked about voluntarism in their white paper. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Go learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. As we continue, we'll take your calls about anything you want to talk about. Chris, you had asked the question about Twitch, which is this new platform that we're on. We started this week. I think that we're on like day number 4. I don't know if we started Monday or Tuesday, but it was this week that we kicked this on. No, it was Monday because the very first episode of The Call to Freedom, the first weekday episode of that show, which launched this week on LRN.FM, was our first official live broadcast on Twitch in HD. And you can go to the Twitch channel at twitch.lrn.fm and you can follow us there. So there's this huge video game industry now that's even bigger than I even know, right? Like I just sort of have this ancillary knowledge of these things that, oh, I've heard that there's video game tournaments now where people actually get paid and win prizes and like probably have to pay to enter. I don't know, but
that's generally how tournaments work.
Yeah. So
now, if you're really, really good, then you could find a company to pay your entry fee.
Sponsor
and
you.
Be a sponsor, and you give us a portion of any earnings. Blah, blah, blah. There are a bunch of different ways that this could work. So there could be just a straight up sponsorship, or there could be a thing of we will pay your fee and then you give us a portion of your earnings.
This sounds like it's right up your alley, Daryl. Is it?
He's not a big video gamer.
I'm not a gamer.
No.
Well, he likes wrestling.
I know you're into wrestling, and I don't know. I guess I somehow associate the two.
Somebody in the Discord says they've got mud wrestling on Twitch now, though.
Yeah, and I forgot there are actually a couple of small independent wrestling promotions that stream their stuff on Twitch, but I've never watched any of it. But I was curious how many people use this Twitch thing, and Twitch actually publishes some numbers. And then I was curious, does YouTube also publish some numbers? Yes, they do. So shall we compare some of these?
Well, I can tell you right now, for the first comparison, when I looked during the last break, we had 18 viewers on Twitch and 3 on YouTube. So 6 times as many viewers on Twitch tonight. Wow. But anyway, yeah, go ahead with...
Twitch reports that they have 15 million daily active users, 2.2+ million unique content creators per month.
That's a lot.
20, and that's also a high ratio.
It's a high ratio of content creators to viewers. A lot of them
to users. They don't say how many viewers, they say how many users.
Most users on a video streaming website are going to be viewers. That's the whole purpose to the site, is to watch video. I mean, you can.
But most creators also are going to watch a video as well.
What about like YouTube? That may not be the case because people like to comment on stuff, right?
Yeah, but usually they're commenting on things they've viewed. They've watched a video, and they leave a comment.
Right, but you said most users are going to be
our viewers.
I'm sorry, I must have misheard you. I thought you said they stream stuff.
No.
Okay.
But in this case, a large number of them are.
25,000 members of the Twitch Partner Program, 110,000 members of the Twitch Affiliate Program, and I don't know what either of those things are.
I don't know the difference between them, but I know that one of them is where your subscribers on your channel pay monthly to Twitch to support your channel.
Okay.
And then Twitch cuts you like 50%.
Oh.
So this is what I was actually leading to earlier when I was saying that now people can actually get paid to play video games.
Oh, and I've also heard, and again, going back to one of the wrestling podcasts that I was listening to where they were talking about, and it must have been this platform to where apparently people can do microtransactions to specific wrestlers during the thing of, I want to give wrestler so-and-so $3.
I'm not aware of that. I don't know what level of granularity the donation system has, but I do know that somebody who wants to support their favorite streamer can do that for like $5 a month, and then I think they probably don't get advertisements if they do this, that kind of thing. So there's like some perks for the person. And one other thing, one of the things that one of the Twitch, because a lot of the people in the Discord are also watching us on Twitch, or they're Twitch users in general, and so they know a lot about it. Since Amazon took it over, Amazon has this Amazon Prime program where you pay like $100 a year, and then you get free 2-day shipping for most everything in their stock.
Right.
That's the general reason why people join Prime, but they also throw in all this other stuff, like you get the video
There's
access.
the Prime Video, and a lot of people have started watching because Amazon worked out a deal with the NFL Network to stream their Thursday night games.
Oh, that's a huge
deal.
So
a lot of people get the Amazon Prime so that they can watch the NFL
games.
Thursday night football game.
So here's the thing. If you've got Amazon Prime, that means that you now have the ability to give us a subscription on Twitch. Even if you don't even use Twitch, you could just go in and sign up for it, and then you can link up your Amazon somehow, right? There's some way to do this. And then you can assign, like, they give you one free subscription that you can so therefore Free Talk Live would get a cut of the amount of money that you're sending to Amazon Prime.
Interesting.
By doing that. So anybody who wants to use their subscription thingy on us on Twitch can do that now. You have to get to 50 followers on Twitch in order to qualify for this. This is what I was told.
Okay.
No one has done it yet to my knowledge.
Okay.
So when somebody does it, I'll make sure to announce that, and thank you. But anyway, so it's there for you. We've hit the 50. So now if you are one of the people who wants to subscribe, you should be able to do that through Twitch.
I'll be interested to find out
we'll get a piece of it.
What the piece of it is.
I think it's 50%. So it's like a $5 a month thing. So
Okay.
Twitch keeps half,
Okay.
and then they shoot half over to the streamer.
Okay, so
which
it's like
is
$2.50 a
LRN
person?
in this case, per subscriber.
Okay, and you need 50, so it would...
No,
okay.
no. We had to get to 50 followers before anyone could even subscribe. That's my understanding.
okay.
More coming up.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free and join us here on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Daryl.
So we've been talking about the online streaming platforms out there, and YouTube, of course, is the biggie. But Twitch is no slouch. I mean, they Daryl, you were just sharing with us during the break the numbers on viewers per day, was it?
Active daily users, according to Twitch, is 15 million. And then I was doing the math on the amount of minutes watched on both Twitch and YouTube, because YouTube doesn't actually give you the minutes per day per person watched, but they do give visits per day and the total hours of video watched per month.
Okay.
And so I did some math. 30 million visits per day to YouTube, which works out to 900 million visits per month.
It's lower, and Chris, you were agreeing with me on this. That sounds lower than what we were expecting for YouTube views. 30 million per day. I mean, YouTube? I would think that there would be 30 million viewers in the United States per day.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about how everybody's cutting cable.
That would be 10% of the U.S. population looking
Look at how many
YouTube
people have Netflix.
Every day.
Look at how many people have Netflix.
Right, but not everybody that has Netflix watches it every single day.
I bet a lot of them do. I bet the majority of the viewers of Netflix do.
Now, let's go to the amount of video watched per month on YouTube. 3.25 billion hours.
That's a lot. Per month.
Per month. So when you divide that by the daily users, then you're looking at like 216 minutes of video watched per person per day.
And 216 minutes compared to Twitch?
Twitch has 106 minutes.
Still, that's a lot.
Hold on, and let me make sure that my math
That's definitely a lot,
is...
especially if you compare it to like cable television.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, in the past we've talked about people's TV habits in the United States, and in years past, I don't know what they are these days, but in years past, people were spending 3, 4, 5, 6 hours per day watching television.
I'm sure some people do, but I think the average was probably maybe 2 or 3 hours, something like that.
I think it's higher than that. We'll have to pull up some numbers.
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing
rather than speculating on that. But I will tell you this: Netflix in 2017 announced they were nearing 100 million subscribers globally. I could pull up whatever that is for the United States, but a good chunk of it, I imagine, is from the United States. Netflix, according to Fortune magazine, article published in the summer of 2017, Netflix has claimed a major symbolic victory of the country's biggest cable providers, with research showing the streaming service now has more U.S. streaming subscribers, that is to say over 50 million, than the number of customers for the country's largest cable companies, which is 48 million.
And
so that's how big Netflix is. It's huge.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Netflix, okay.
I brought that up as an example to compare.
Yeah.
You know, if YouTube is saying they've got 30 million per month, Netflix has more than that.
Wow.
And Netflix doesn't have anywhere near the catalog of YouTube. I mean, as far as like volume, I mean, certainly they have movies that YouTube doesn't have, but as far as volume of
YouTube
video,
has a bunch of crap because
that's
300 hours of video are uploaded
every
to
minute,
YouTube
right?
every minute.
Yeah.
But they don't put that. They don't put all of it in front of you. They put stuff that's selectively geared towards you or similar to other content that you've watched.
Anyway, I just wanted to compare YouTube to Netflix. I mean, these are huge numbers.
There
anyway,
have been 10,113 YouTube videos that have generated over 1 billion views. 80% of YouTube's views are from outside the United States.
80%?
Wow.
Really?
And the average mobile viewing session, viewing, meaning not from a laptop, not from a desktop, so from cell phone,
from
tablet,
cell phone or tablet,
40 minutes
per day.
Huh.
The average session.
Session. Wow. Okay, that's a long.
Yeah.
Long session.
They also say that 80% of YouTube I just read that one. 8 out of 10 people in the 18 to 49 year age bracket visit YouTube at least once a month.
Okay, so the 30 million includes, so over the whole month, I wonder, what was the total? Was it like 900?
30 million per day times 30 is 900 million viewers per month.
The average American, according to, now this is 2014, so fairly recent numbers, according to the New York Daily News, 5 hours of television per day.
Really?
So you were off by half.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's increased substantially since the 90s.
No,
No,
I don't think so. People in America are TV consumers. They watch video, whether it's cable, whether it's movies, whether it's Netflix now, because Netflix has siphoned a lot of that,
and whether it's streaming, because now YouTube has that YouTube TV service
where they've got live streaming channels,
to where you can pay $35 a month to get what is essentially basic cable.
Right. With cable networks.
I want to know how they pull that off. I mean, don't most
licensing?
people? No, I'm thinking
Alphabet has
employment,
deals with
school, jobs, things like that. Like, how do you do 5 hours of television a day? I mean, if you figure the average person works 9 to 5, they get home at 6, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right,
11,
so
to 11
hold
o'clock.
on. So
I mean, do
6 o'clock. You get home at 6 o'clock. You turn the TV on.
They watch it right through dinner.
And
sure.
Yes.
They don't talk to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
People sit down in front of it.
It's a substitute.
Have you never heard of a TV dinner?
Yeah, it's
a TV tray. You put this little tray in front of you while you're sitting on the lazy boy.
It's a substitute for actually having a conversation with your family during
and
dinner,
then
right?
On weekends, you figure weekends are going to skew the number up a little bit because just veg out, sit on the couch and watch TV all day.
That's probably what's doing it. It's probably the weekend.
But still,
dude, pulling up
people
those
are
numbers.
watching 3 to 4 hours of TV at night during the week. And then they're watching like 8 or 9 on the weekend, so that skews it up to the average of 5.
They're going to put it on in the morning, too, when they get ready for work.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, my stepmom used to watch Country Boy Eddie every morning.
Or the Today Show, or whatever the different morning talk shows are.
He was the local guy that came on before the Good Morning Today.
Yeah, so some people have television running constantly. I mean, I can't stand households like that because I just find it so distracting.
Yeah. Now, here's a number that's very interesting. Only 9% of small businesses in the United States use YouTube.
Meaning that they put their product on YouTube as a channel?
I think this means as a content.
That's a surprisingly high number, 9% to me. I mean, because that requires some level of being with it to,
And most businesses, they're not the kind of businesses, like, I mean, a lot of businesses.
They're not geared towards that.
Right, they're local businesses. I mean, there's a lot more local businesses
local
than there
business. You make a short little 30-second commercial. Instead of paying to put it on television, put it on YouTube.
If you post it to YouTube, nobody's going to see your 30-second commercial.
The reason why you put your commercial on television is because people are there watching. If you put something on YouTube, like with our channel, we got 3 viewers on YouTube. I mean, we're a nationally syndicated radio talk show, and we've got 3 viewers. I mean, it's an embarrassingly low number. And it's, we don't push it a whole lot, but even if we did, it wouldn't drive a whole lot of traffic to it.
Well, what's the Blender guy that
they're entertaining
people watch his crap?
It's not crap. It's entertaining. You're talking about Watch It Blend or Will It Blend. That's what it is. Where they take
a Blendco blender blend another Blendco blender?
Is that what it's called, Blendco?
I don't remember what it's called.
Well, that's the thing. See,
Blendtech.
See, so you remember the name of it.
That sounds like an entertainment business, though.
No. It's a blender business.
They sell blenders.
It's a brilliant marketing ploy.
It's a tie. They're tying it all together.
Let me explain what it is.
They're making commercials.
Let me explain what it is.
Understood.
So you can understand it. So they are a blending company. They make blenders, and they've done that for however many years. And at some point, somebody got the idea of, hey, we ought to have our own YouTube channel where we show off how badass our blenders are. And they blend a bunch of crazy crap. So, like, new iPhone comes out, $1,000, whatever. They throw that sucker in there, and then they show it, in slow-mo and, like, blending. And
I
hilarious.
can't see that working for most small businesses.
No, for most of them, they don't have the writers, they don't have the equipment, they don't have the people, the production staff. There's more coming up here in moments. 8:55, 450 free if you want to join us on Free Talk Live. Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want. Toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us here on the radio, on the internet as well, streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, though nobody really cares about the YouTube stream. It's never really was something that anybody spent time watching. But now that we're on Twitch, I think more new users, new viewers are finding us there, which is cool because we're in the talk shows category, and there, frankly, aren't that many of them there. So, people that are looking for something a little different, something that's not exactly video game streaming, which is 99% of what you're going to find over on that site, you can check us out. Apparently, yes. I haven't seen that myself, but that's what somebody told us. So twitch.lrn.fm gets you there. That led us into a larger conversation about Americans and their television or video consuming habits. You were sharing some statistics from YouTube and Twitch, and then I had the stat here about Americans watch 5 hours of TV per day, according to a 2014 report. The TV time viewing for all ethnic groups increases steadily as we get older, according to the cross-platform report released by the Nielsen Media Ratings Company. So if somebody's going to know something about TV, it's those folks. Once Americans pass age 65, they watch more than 7 hours of television
that one, I believe.
per day. The average American spends another 32 minutes a day on time-shifted television, an hour using the internet on a computer, an hour and 7 minutes on a smartphone, and 2 hours, and I bet those numbers are up. This, again, was 2014.
Right.
46 minutes listening to the radio. Nielsen report suggests our media habits have remained fairly steady over the last few years, though smartphone usage and time-shifting television are growing. The report also confirms a familiar pattern in TV viewing, and that is that we watch a lot of television while we're young and mostly at home. Then viewership drops while we hit our teen years and start to develop more outside interests. But after that, our viewing then rises in pretty much a straight line for the rest of our lives. According to Nielsen, the average weekly usage for ascending age groups. So here you go. For Americans watching television in 2014, children aged 2 through 11 watch a total of 24 hours, 16 minutes per week of television. 12 to 17-year-olds watching 20 hours and 41 minutes per week. 18 to 24, 22 hours and 27 minutes. 25 to 34, over 27 hours. 35 to 49, over 33 hours. 50 to 64, over 43 hours. And 65 plus, over 50 hours per week watching television. So far more than you had expected it to be, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. I can understand that people getting older because they lose partners and, they don't have kids anymore and they don't have jobs.
Yeah, but it's still like there's no hobby.
It's actually kind of depressing.
Right. Like, if I were retired, this is something that bothered me once. It still bothers me today, but a girlfriend I had in the past when I was in Florida, we went over to her grandparents' house, and they're just sitting there watching television, and it's like, if that were my life, I would be so bummed out because I would want to have a hobby or more than one hobby, something to do if I were going to retire. And, again, you retire from things you don't like to do, I think, generally, or that you're bored of or something like that. In order to go and watch television? I mean, really?
All right.
There's so much else you could do.
While trying to find updated numbers on TV viewing habits in 2017, I stumbled across something called the Edelman Digital Trends Report for 2017. And they've got some numbers here specifically about Netflix. Netflix produced 1,000 hours of original programming in 2017.
That's amazing.
If you were to watch all of the original programming that Netflix offers, they say it would take 3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Now, they're not saying here...
without sleep?
They're not saying how many hours per day and how many days per week.
Because 1,000 hours over a year is...
Well, no. That's only 1,000 hours that were produced in 2017.
Oh, they're saying if you watch the entire catalog of
everything that Netflix has ever made as original programming.
Yeah. Okay. Can't do that.
It would take you about 3.5 years.
Okay, so that might be straight without sleep.
Probably.
Yeah.
It could very well be. Interesting. The toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE. You're welcome to comment on media consumption habits. I mean, it is a media-oriented society. And even though we are the creators of some of that media on this show, we're so disconnected from it, right? Like, I don't have television.
How many hours a week do you listen to Free Talk Live, Ian?
The ones that I'm sitting here for, but I don't,
Sounds about right to me.
18 hours.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm in the studio during your Thursday show, Daryl, so I'll hear some of that as well. Why do you ask?
Oh, I'm just curious because
that's part of work.
This is true, but I've noticed that a lot of co-hosts listen to Free Talk Live a lot more before they became co-hosts, and it's I guess the point is it's just like the people that are producing it aren't necessarily listening to it, even though it might be up their alley and interests, just because there's only so much you can take in,
do so
right?
much, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to listen a long time ago to every episode on like sped up speed just because I wanted to, make it better or whatever, and I had more time to do that kind of thing back then, and now I've got more responsibilities now than ever before. So I say we're so disconnected from the rest of the media. Yeah, we know what's happening on Free Talk Live, but what's happening in the rest of the world on mainstream media, on all the different TV shows out there, I couldn't tell you. What I would be useless at a water cooler chat, right? Like people talk about television. That's one of the things. It's a shared experience that people have. It allows them to relate to one another, even though they're not really relating to one another. They're just talking about television,
right?
But it has that illusion of you're making a connection with someone.
Shouldn't the new season of Better Call Saul be coming out soon?
I don't know. Maybe so. You might be right.
I've seen a few episodes, but
that's one of the shows that I will go out of my way to make sure that I'm able to watch.
But you're not watching it live on the boob tube, right?
Oh, I don't know when it airs live.
Exactly. So you found something that you like. You found a program that you like, and you can go and feed on that.
There are a handful of TV shows that I like.
You like the Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, Vikings.
You're wearing a shirt about that, aren't you?
Yes.
Is that a Game of Thrones shirt?
Yes, this is a Game of Thrones shirt.
Okay. See, I knew because of the wall reference, and I remember hearing talk about that. I've only seen a couple episodes.
Game of Thrones, Vikings, and Better Call Saul.
Do you guys have televisions?
No. I mean, I have a TV set, but it's not plugged into cable, so it's only used for movies and...
I do not own a television.
I use it as a 45-inch monitor for my computer.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of people, within our group just, that are producing content seem to be lacking certain devices.
Is that right?
Yeah. I also didn't have a television for years and years, and I still don't have.
But you do now? Or you don't?
Yes, but I don't have cable or bunny ear. Well, actually, I technically have bunny ears,
rabbit ears.
They're not hooked up. Yeah, rabbit ears, exactly.
Do they still have those, even with the new digital TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually
there are new
I bought a pair.
Forms of the rabbit ear things. I saw some at Job Lot. I went to Job Lots for something a few weeks ago, and they had some weird new digital.
You'll get 4 channels
rabbit ear thing.
Keen. and they're all PBS.
So anyway, if you want to join us here, we're here for you. Let's go to Ricky. He's in Pennsylvania. You're on Free Talk Live via Skype. Go ahead, Ricky.
Thank you there, Brother Ian. Last night I...
You got a cigar in your mouth there?
No, I was lighting a cigarette there, brother.
Oh, a cigarette.
Right? Yeah.
Just sounds like you got something in your mouth. Just wanted to see what was going on there. Go ahead.
Well, you trying to imply something there, brother?
I'm not saying anything. Just go right ahead with your call.
Well, last night here I mentioned about my pending candidacy.
You're going to run for office.
Yes, District 189, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it.
Now, is this the plan that you'd had before, where you have to physically move to a different district?
No, I live there.
Okay. So you were talking about that on previous episodes of the show.
Well, you know what? In the past, I was thinking about running for a seat in Northampton County.
All right. So what about this new seat? What do you want to share?
Oh, it's the same old seat, actually. It's District 189. Now, the fact of the matter is, my concern here. See, why am I running for it? Well, it's held by Representative Rosemary Brown. Now, yes, she's a Republican. I mean, I get along with her people. But the fact of the matter is, it came up the other night about what they call reallocation of the districts. And see, here's the problem. I get around, and regardless of what these people are saying, what people are saying in, like you say, the media and all these different things does not reflect the will of the people. Now, myself,
I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, what is the issue that people are saying things about?
Let's see here, like the attitude of Pennsylvanians towards guns. Myself, Brother Ian, I believe that everybody has the right to protect themselves, and that includes felons, as long as they're free on the street.
Well, I think that's a fine platform position. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm sure you'll be calling us to tell us all about your run for office. Thanks for the call tonight.
Put videos of your campaign up on Twitch and YouTube.
I don't know. I hope he heard you say that, because that's one of the things that Chris Reitman last night was suggesting, that Ricky needs his own YouTube channel.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the Federal Tax Management Helpline that has been set up for you, 800-503-8625. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-503-8625. That's 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, January 12th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,332 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $55, and the average price of Bitcoin is $14,052. Antiwar.com reports during the bilateral talks between North and South Korea this week, the U.S. Air Force deployed 3 nuclear-capable B-2 Spirit bombers to Guam, along with some 200 airmen. The Guam base has long been seen as the likely staging area for U.S. attacks against North Korea. Adding context to this deployment, while the U.S. never formally objected to the talks, there were reports at the time that the Trump administration was debating carrying out a limited sneak attack against North Korea, though the reports on the attack suggest it was likely to be in the future, likely during the Winter Olympics. The deployment of the U.S. warplanes has doubtless added to military tensions on the Korean Peninsula, even as the negotiations sought to ease them somewhat. Putting nuclear-capable bombers in Guam on the eve of the Winter Olympics, and immediately after President Trump bragged about his nuclear button, doubtless will further inflame concerns throughout the region and serious fear of a war breaking out.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports a Republican lawmaker wants to give permanent residency to approximately 400,000 immigrants in the United States affected by the Trump administration's decision to end the temporary protected status. TPS, but he also wants to end the TPS program entirely. The TPS Act of 2018, introduced by Representative Mike Kaufman of Colorado, would end the 28-year-old program while granting permanent legal residency to its recipients from El Salvador, Honduras, Haiti, and Nicaragua. The total number of people that could potentially be granted legal residency is approximately 462,000, many of whom have been in the country for nearly 30 years. In his calls to eliminate TPS altogether, Kaufman's bill addresses a major criticism of the program. TPS was created in 1990 to grant temporary residency to people from countries affected by war, natural disasters, and humanitarian disasters until those conditions were improved. But even after conditions improved, the State Department has continually renewed TPS for the program's recipients, prolonging their time in the United States. In effect, many have been in the country legally for decades, and going back to their home country would be an immense hardship. Earlier this week, the Trump administration announced an end to the TPS program for more than 200,000 Salvadorians who have been living in the country legally since 2001, when a major earthquake affected El Salvador. The administration previously announced an end to the TPS program for people from Haiti and Nicaragua. All TPS recipients from El Salvador, Haiti, and Nicaragua were given 18 months to return to their country or apply for other visas to stay in the United States.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Reuters reports the U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday passed a bill to renew the National Security Agency's warrantless Internet surveillance program, overcoming objections from privacy advocates. The legislation, which passed 256 to 164 and split party lines, is the culmination of a years-long debate in Congress on the proper scope of U.S. intelligence collection, one fueled by the 2013 disclosures of classified surveillance records by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden. Some lawmakers attempted to persuade colleagues to include more privacy protections. They failed on Thursday to pass an amendment to include a requirement for a warrant before the NSA or other intelligence agencies could scrutinize communications belonging to an American whose data is incidentally collected. Thursday's vote was a major blow to privacy and civil liberties advocates. The bill, as passed by the House, would extend the NSA spying program for 6 years with minimal changes, with some privacy groups saying it would actually expand the NSA's surveillance powers. The Senate will hold a procedural vote on the bill next week after it returns from a break. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
An update now on a legal battle emerging around the Onion News Network's own Jode Kressbeckler. After the shocking story yesterday that a group of assailants attacked Congressman William Cummings, tied him to a horse, and dragged him through a briar patch, some are now saying these statements from Mr. Kressbeckler last week may have incited the attack.
Bootlegging Congressman Cummings ought to be tied to a horse and dragged through a briar patch.
Mr. Kressbeckler's show is billed as an opinion and entertainment program.
Yes,
and he even calls himself nothing but a caterwauling old badger, so the claim that he would incite people to violence seems pretty far-fetched.
He displayed a map of Congressman Cummings' home in relation to the nearest briar patch, told his viewers where to purchase a, quote, good pulling horse, and used a life-size dummy of Congressman Cummings to demonstrate effective knot-tying techniques.
Right. You know, I think most reasonable people would see that as simply a ribald political satire.
Right.
Briar patch is obviously a metaphor for the prickly political atmosphere in Washington, and drag from a horse means something else.
Makes sense to me.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You, as always, can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you can join us on Skype as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM. Still to come here tonight, a disturbing story about malware and YouTube. Google products apparently showing porn inadvertently. You're going to tell us more about that coming up here in moments, Chris.
Yeah.
It's Ian, Chris, and Daryl in the studio. But let's go back to the beginning of the show, Daryl, where we actually were talking about a couple of Supreme Court cases that are somewhat related.
Yes.
With police searches One of them about a police search of a man's property outside of his home where they found a wanted motorcycle that had been stolen under a tarp.
Right. It was covered under a tarp, parked on private property, quote unquote, just a few feet from his house.
Right.
And there were questions by some of the justices about whether or not, because it's been interpreted by courts that police can search a vehicle in certain circumstances without warrants. There were questions about whether or not that meant that the police could go inside a house if there was a vehicle inside the house that they wanted to search. And
that's what they want. The Supreme Court may not allow
lawyer for the state of Virginia was arguing that basically, yeah, should be able to go into anything. Now, the court could decide to create an exemption for dwellings. However, that winds up getting defined. What about people that live in their cars? Their car is their dwelling.
Right.
And then there's other precedent that deals specifically with RVs and mobile homes.
Right. In the past, those have been considered to be your home, basically, and they've been given extra levels of protection.
Right. So then, that winds up creating the legal question of what differentiates a car that someone who is homeless lives in and an RV that is specifically designed for someone to live in.
Besides the income of the person who's involved there, right? Because you typically can't get most people with RVs have enough money to buy an RV, and so there's some level of an income disparity between them and the person who is living in their car.
Right.
But otherwise, if your clothes are in there and that's where you're sleeping, that's your home.
Right. The second case involves a defendant named Terrence Bird, who was stopped by police in 2014 in Pennsylvania while driving a car that his girlfriend had rented. Police said that they were legally allowed to search the car without his consent and without needing a warrant because he was not listed on the rental agreement.
Not without the consent of the person who was on the rental agreement.
She apparently was not in the vehicle at the time.
Well, without her consent, they don't get to search.
Well, hold on. Hold on. There have been other court rulings that said that if one person that occupies the dwelling says, "No, officer, you can't search this dwelling," and then that person leaves for some reason, even if it's because they were arrested for disorderly conduct,
and then another person,
then the police can get consent from another person in the dwelling.
But that doesn't apply here because they didn't have consent from this guy either. They didn't have a consent from the girlfriend.
But they said they did not need his consent. She was not in the vehicle to give or refuse consent.
Which is an insane argument. Because, again, the person not being there does not mean they are consenting. And it's just a ridiculous legal argument. I hope it doesn't hold up.
Again, my understanding here is it's based on that flawed court ruling that says that if an occupant of a house that doesn't want...
But they don't have someone consenting in this case, so it's not based on that.
Right, but...
There's no one sitting in the car who says you can search this car.
The person whose name was on the rental agreement was not there to be asked.
That's right. So they asked the person in the car, and the person in the car did not give permission. So this is not the same situation.
They don't need it because his name was not on the rental agreement.
I know what they said.
Let me continue with what happened. The officers then found heroin and a bulletproof vest, both becoming felonies. Now, possession of a bulletproof vest in and of itself is not a felony in Pennsylvania. However, it becomes a felony if you possess it while committing another felony.
Which is to say having heroin.
Right.
Possession of heroin is a felony. You have heroin and a bulletproof vest, therefore 2 felonies.
Yeah.
He pled guilty to unlawful possession of both items, but again has challenged the entirety of the stop and the charges.
How can he do that after having pled guilty?
I don't know.
Because usually that just takes the case right off the table, and then, sorry, you don't get to appeal.
Right, but it could have been one of those things to where, like he raised a certain objection and then... pled guilty, and then, oh, wait,
under duress.
Violation of constitutional rights, something.
It's unusual.
Don't know what his lawyer was thinking, but it is what it is, and it's now before the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And Reuters says that Justice Stephen Breyer appeared to support a ruling that would prohibit a warrantless search in such a case if the driver has permission of the named person on the rental agreement.
Yeah.
As long as it does not appear that there was not a crime in taking possession of the car.
I wonder how the driver in that case, who was not the renter of the car, how they would prove that they have permission. Are they going to have to get a permission slip before they leave their hotel room to go to the grocery store or whatever from the person who rented the car? Because, again, this was a rental car.
I would think the 90% law kind of comes into effect. Or
what's that?
Well, it's not a law. It's the concept of 90% or 9/10 of the law
is 9/10.
Right. Or
so you possess this tricycle.
Yeah.
We are to believe at least 90% that you own this tricycle, even though you actually stole it from little Timmy, who was your next door neighbor 35 years ago, because you borrowed it and never gave it back.
Right. I don't think the 9/10 rule applies to the government and how they see your property. But I get your point. It is a phrase that is fairly common and kind of makes sense in a lot of ways. So more to share, or is that pretty much the story?
That's it. Wrapping up that rulings in both cases are due by the end of June.
All right. So one thing that I think it's important to go over here that we really didn't in the first hour because we ended up talking about other things. And, of course, we will take your calls about anything if you want to join us at toll-free number 855-450, free like freedom, and Skype username LRN.FM. But I think it's important to remember to remind you, dear listener, that if the police are asking you to search, and we don't know what happened in this situation because it doesn't get in either of these situations, it doesn't get into the details of the case as far as was the guy in the car giving consent or did they just search him without his consent. But
says here, police said they did not need his consent.
Okay.
We don't need your consent or a warrant because your name's not on the piece of paper that says this vehicle rented by.
I hope that that case gets overturned. I hope the Supreme Court doesn't rule in the favor of the police in this case. But if the police are asking you to search, and it happens often where the police will say something to you like, I'm going to have to ask to search this vehicle. That sounds like an order. I'm going to have to ask. The word ask is your clue that it's not actually an order, but I'm going to have to, issued by a threatening, looming man who has his hand over his gun, can sound a lot like more than a request.
Yeah.
And so if that happens, if you find yourself in that situation, first of all, you should be recording the situation, number one. Use Cell 411. It's a great tool. GetCell411.com is where you can download it. It's
or at the very least, Bamboozer.
I heard they went out of business. Are they still around?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Can you check that for me?
Yes, I can.
I heard that Bamboozer is done for. But that was a good app back in the day. I mean, worst case, just use your own phone's recording device, the video camera option. But better to use Cell 411 because it streams it out live to the internet, to your friends, so your friends can actually see what's happening.
Bamboozer.com takes you to a landing page that says industry-leading mobile video technology for organizations and app developers. The Iris platform allows you to easily utilize check out Iris.
Somebody bought them. Okay.
Yes.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. I know I'd seen somebody coming into a group.
Bamboozer community will cease its services in the coming weeks.
It's over. So if you had any videos there you wanted, you should probably get them off that site. So more coming up here in moments. And again, more about not consenting to a search. I think that's important. Deserves a little further discussion for newer listeners out there. And if you want to tell your story about a search, feel free.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself. to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Fossilized evidence reveals the Spazosaurus was the largest doofus ever to roam the Earth, and a new tandem mobility scooter is released. This is the Onion Week in Review, damn it, and we're going to need you to demonstrate a little decorum. Got it? This week, economists confirm that the booming tear gas industry continues to lead the world's economic recovery. Financial experts confirm that the growing demand for tear gas in countries like Turkey, Brazil, and Greece has increased over 20% annually over the past few years, and is anticipated to continue playing a major role in the world economy.
The market for tear gas just keeps sustaining itself and growing. We can only hope that more people demand tear gas in the coming months, and the recovery will be here sooner than we thought.
In other news, a community is devastated by the sight of an old man struggling up some steps. A stack of unused CDRs turns 5 years old, and this zoo is really promoting the hell out of their new fruit bat. Your diligence and patience have been noted. Prove yourself further at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you may dial toll-free to join us here on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Daryl.
Want to learn about cryptocurrency? Start with the granddaddy of them all. That's Bitcoin. You go to bitcoin.com, and you can learn the basics about Bitcoin, where it came from, what it is, how it works. And then you can get started with getting a Bitcoin wallet. And you probably want to put some Bitcoin Cash in there because it's a lot cheaper to utilize Bitcoin Cash than the original Bitcoin Core these days. But they'll tell you all about it over at Bitcoin.com. Make sure you check that out. And if you're not new to Bitcoin, if you want to get the latest news headlines, Bitcoin.com's got them. They've got news updated every single day, probably multiple times a day. I don't know how often, but it's pretty frequent. There's always fresh content over there at news.bitcoin.com. The latest headlines from across the world in the world of Bitcoin. That's news.bitcoin.com. And so we were just talking about searches, police searches, and how if you are being asked to search, you have a right to say no in those circumstances. Now, that doesn't mean the cops aren't going to just go ahead and search anyway and break the law, but if that does happen, then you may actually have a legal case, and you should probably get in touch with attorneys who might be willing to take cases pro bono.
And you said that a lot of times the cops will say something along the lines of, I'm going to have to ask you to search the vehicle.
Yeah.
And he's not lying, because he does have to ask to search the vehicle, because he can't just do it on his own.
Well, it could be departmental policy, but they don't have to ask. I mean, many of them can look the other way.
They have to ask probably before they actually do a search.
They are legally required to either obtain consent or a warrant, which means they have to ask.
No,
unless it's a car.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they don't have to do anything. They have discretion unless it's some sort of departmental policy that they have to ask. He wants to search, which is why he has to ask.
Correct, and that's what I'm saying. Is legally, he has to ask before he can search.
Correct.
But they word the question in such a way as to where you don't realize it's a question.
Right, and now you can ask a question back.
They'll ask you, weird random questions that have nothing to do with anything to get you to be chatty.
Mm-hmm. Where do you work? What'd you do today? Where are you heading? They want you to say something so you can talk yourself into getting a ticket by giving them some information that they otherwise didn't have that they can then use against you.
Right.
They're not being your friend. They don't really want to know what you were doing. They just want to get something to arrest you for.
They want to know what you were doing because maybe you admit to doing something illegal. I just went over to a hooker's house.
Yeah, not because they're interested in knowing you or what you actually did. They want to catch you for something, and they want to put you behind bars. That's why they ask those questions. Which leads me to another aspect of refusing searches, which is to say refusing the questions as well. There's a great guy on YouTube, Kenny Suter is his name, and he's got a great YouTube channel where he posts videos of him interacting with police, and every single thing the police say to him, all he says back to them is, I don't answer questions. And so, of course, they try to ask him more questions. Well, why don't you answer questions? I don't answer questions. Every single thing they say, no matter how persuasive sounding it is, no matter how friendly they are, no matter what they're saying, he just keeps going with that refrain, which is an interesting approach because there was that Supreme Court case, a bad one, a while back, where they basically said that you don't have a right to remain silent unless you
affirm it.
Verbally affirm that you are utilizing your right.
In theory, you could also do it in writing, but you have to inform the police officer in some manner that you are exercising your right to remain silent.
Which presumes the cop can read, so it's probably best to say it to him.
Well, what happens if you're mute and you are unable to speak?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said if you are mute and unable to speak...
Yeah, you have to write it down.
Write it down because you have to inform them in some way. And the courts cannot mandate that you must speak it because not every human being is capable of speaking.
Yep, that's true. It was outrageous, though, that decision saying that you had to utilize a form of speech in order to reserve your right to not speak.
Correct.
Which is just crazy, which is why I love this guy's approach. I mean, just on its face, it's a good approach because sometimes when the police are talking to you, because they're a human being, you want to talk to them. You know, that there's just this sort of connection between people where, another person is asking me a question. I should just answer that person's question. It's just sort of the natural thing to do. And sometimes, sometimes they're friendly, sometimes they're not. But regardless, his response, it gives you the ability to respond. Like, you're saying something back, so you're not having to reserve your right to remain silent. You're not remaining silent. You're saying something to this cop. In this case, you are saying, I don't answer questions. Now, that's not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. But you can go and watch his videos for yourself and see how well this works. The cops don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it. And that's also true in a lot of cases where somebody refuses a search. It's very rare the cops have anybody refuse a search, so it's unusual circumstance for them. This is also unusual where somebody is not even talking to them about even, the driving or the incident or whatever it was. It's just, I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions. Like, you can say it differently if you want. You can put the inflection on, different parts of the sentence. I don't answer questions, and the cops just they don't know what to say, or they're frustrated or flummoxed or whatever, and then a lot of cases they just end up turning around and walking away because they can't get anywhere with this guy. And if they issue the ticket, fine. There's one video where the cop throws the ticket at him, or throws it through the crack in the window. So he also did the thing where you don't roll your window all the way down. That one is another move as well. So again, refusing police searches, refusing to answer their questions, and then as this guy does, Kenny Suter, openly saying, I don't answer questions, just to let them know. That way they're not confused as to why you're not answering them. You just let them know, I don't answer questions. I love it. It's such a great approach. He recently did a video explaining to people his tactics. It's like a video for dummies, right? Because if you watch any of his other videos, you know what his tactic is. You say, I don't answer questions to everything they say to you. But he did like a long explainer video of like why it was like this, why he chose this, and then he shows some of the clips from some of the videos that he's made over the years. So if you want to talk about your experience with police searches, please, you're welcome to get on the line with us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. And in my experience, if you are in a situation with a cop and they're asking you a question like or they're saying something to you, because it's not exactly a question. If they're saying something to you like, I'm going to have to ask to search this vehicle, you have the ability to speak and ask them a question back. Now, again, you got to be careful what you say to cops. But if you ask them a question like, just to clarify, officer, are you asking me for permission to search? Are you asking, officer, or are you ordering me to get out of the car so you can search? You can always ask, are you asking a question? Is that a question?
And then sometimes they'll say, I'm asking, but if you don't do it, then fill in the blank.
Oh, yeah, they're good at threatening people.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they're bringing threats into it, then at that point you probably want to make sure, again, you've got to be recording the experience. So that was my recommendation in the last segment. GetCell411.com, GetCell411, and have that running during this, because that way it's not your word versus his in court. You've got an actual video of what this officer tried to do. If the cop starts threatening you, if you're saying, I don't answer questions, or you're asking for clarification, are you asking me if you can search, officer? And then they come back with something like, you get out of the car, I'm going to arrest you for disorderly conduct right now. Well, go ahead and get out of the car, but let them know you're doing that under duress and that you don't consent to a search.
Right.
I don't consent to a search.
Yeah, if you call or bluff, most of the time they'll leave you alone, in my experience.
Most
of
the time. But yeah, that's why the video is very, very important. Just in case they try to do something really shifty. All right, we're going to continue here with your calls and thoughts. You can bring up whatever you want. Some freaky malware got involved with a Google product. You'll tell us about it coming up.
Kiss your credit card debt goodbye. I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and myself want to show you how to achieve financial peace, creating an extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com. radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it's police searches or video consuming habits, we've been talking about those things here quite a bit tonight. With you in the studio, you've got Ian.
And Chris.
And Daryl.
Also want to let you know about Dash. It's Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are quick and can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. And Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. Once again, that's dash.org as we continue here. Let's get back into the world of entertainment and internet. We talked a lot about that in the second hour of the show. Chris, you've got a related story about something naughty that started to pop up on some Google YouTube users. Is that right? Was it YouTube, or where was this?
Yes. So actually, the article is in regards to the Play Store. But there's another article, connected article, I don't have this in today, that has happened recently in regards to YouTube, and I don't remember the exact details, but apparently there's some sort of family-friendly YouTube version.
Sure.
And it's also got the same problem.
Okay, what is the problem?
And the problem is that there are, it's not exactly the same problem, but it's basically in regards to inappropriate content for kids. So in this particular article, we're talking about from Gizmodo. We're talking about Google pulling 60 apps from the Play Store after malware exposes kids to porn.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is, by the way, one of the benefits of using a Google Android phone compared to an iPhone is that there are a whole lot more options in the Play Store versus the iPhone's App Store, because every app has to go through some level of vetting by Apple in order to get into their store, while Google doesn't have the same level of scrutiny applied to the apps in their store. So that's why after the fact, you'll sometimes see them going in and cleaning up messy software from their store.
Yeah, I believe that there's been malware in the Apple App Store as well.
It wouldn't surprise me if some slipped through.
Google has a lot more apps in their store.
Because there's not a process of hoop jumping to get through.
There really isn't any real security analysis of these applications by either Apple or Google.
That's true. It's just that Apple's got a closed-door policy. They make it a little harder to get in there. You got to pay, for instance, to get in there, and you don't have to pay with the Google.
Yeah, it's something along those lines. So I don't know the exact details, the current details.
I know
of what
this
it takes
because
to get in, but
because we have the LRN app. which is was a free app. So there's a company out there that basically makes the same app for receiving streaming audio, and then they just sort of rebrand it based on whoever they're making it for. So like the UN has an app that's made by this company. There's all kinds of streaming audio. Radio stations from around the world have these apps. So the LRN one wasn't custom made for us. It was just sort of custom branded.
It's a fork, basically.
For us. And let's see. So when we were getting this thing set up, it was like no problem to get the Android app, up in the Android Play Store and rolling. But in order to get the Apple one, we had to either create an account with Apple's like iTunes Store or something like that as a or as a developer, or if we knew somebody who already had one, we could use that. And so luckily, I put the request out there, and there was actually somebody who used to live in Keene as part of the New Hampshire Freedom Migration who happened to have an already existing Apple thing. And so I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you half of your yearly fee if you'll put this software on your account. So we actually got a price break because we used somebody else's account, but otherwise we would have had to pay like $100 a year to get up there.
Is that legit? Can you do that, or is that sort of under the? We shouldn't really be talking about it.
It's legit because he's the one who's the publisher of the software. Doesn't matter whether he programmed it. He's just the account who published it, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the whole publishing in either of the stores myself, but
it was more hoop jumping to get through the Apple thing.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be. I'm actually surprised if an app like that would even be allowed into Apple's ecosystem.
A streaming app? Why wouldn't it be?
I mean, they try to keep the number of apps, limit the number of apps they let in.
If you're going to pay them, they're going to let you in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
The paying thing keeps away some level of riffraff, right? Like, if you're a scammer, do you want to pay to run your scam, or do you want to just scam people without paying? Most people would probably scam without paying, but the professional scammer is willing to pay the fee to get on a list of something like that.
Yep.
So anyway, what happened with this?
All right,
they pulled 60 apps.
60 apps from the Play Store had malware in them that exposed kids to porn. That's the headline.
The malware was something called Adult Swine.
Okay.
Yes.
And I've pulled up a different article from something called Checkpoint that goes into a good bit of detail about how this thing works, but apparently it was in a bunch of gaming apps, this bug that then wound up popping up. A lot of times, you download some sort of freeware game and then ads pop up.
Yep.
Apparently, one of the ads that popped up was
sexy girls in your town. Click now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
They actually have a picture of what the fake propagated ad was. New leaked Kim Kardashian pictures. New uncensored photos of Kim Kardashian. Click
porn,
allow
right?
to get the new pics.
That doesn't sound like porn.
It doesn't look like porn to me, unless that's a cut version.
Were they saying it was porn or just inappropriate?
They're calling it porn here.
The headline from Gizmodo is porn.
Okay, all right.
The headline from Checkpoint.com is porn ads discovered.
All right.
All right.
Maybe there were other ones then.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah. I had to wonder if an article like a story like this would even run actual porn in the article.
No, of course not. No.
I don't know if this is
let's keep going.
Hyping it, or if there was actually something more significant. But all right, Google moved quickly on Friday to remove the roughly 60 apps said to be affected from its Play Store. The malware was first reported by the cyber threat intelligence firm Checkpoint. We have removed the apps from Play, disabled the developers' accounts, and will continue to show strong warnings to anyone that has installed them. A Google spokesperson said, "We appreciate Checkpoint's work to help keep users safe."
Safe from pictures.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical considering
because kids on the internet today have never heard of pornography.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking at because this Checkpoint article, they have some reviews of whatever this scareware they're calling it scareware.
Were these the reviews that were posted to the Play Store by other users?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't install for your kids. I did, and my son opened, and a bunch of filthy hardcore porn pictures popped up. So apparently when they tried getting rid of the ad, it wound up installing something that then showed porn.
Jeez.
So the ads themselves weren't necessarily pornographic, but whatever got installed was... Here, according to the reviewer Shane Aitken from November of last year, it says it brought up a bunch of quote-unquote filthy hardcore porn pictures, filthy spelled incorrectly, by the way. Then somebody else, October of last year,
this has been going on for a while. It took Google a while to close these guys down.
App is not running in the foreground. Some of the ads try and make you believe your device has a virus. I believe there may be pornographic ads as well. So apparently this thing, once it winds up getting on the device, just starts popping up ads all over the place, not just in the 60 different things that wound up being infiltrated.
If you are downloading an app and it's not something you're intimately trusting of the company who's making it, like if it's a big name company and you know for sure it's coming from them, it's probably not going to do this to you. But if it's some weird ass unusual app, it's always good to look at those reviews and see what other people's experiences have been. There's more coming up though. It's Free Talk Live.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out Dash.org for more information and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. The Skype username here is LRN.FM. The remaining moments of the show, we got enough time for you if you want to dial us up. And also, don't forget, you can head over to freetalklive.com. You can support the show by becoming a Free Talk Live amplifier. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is simple. You send $5 a month into the program with any major credit card or PayPal or even Bitcoin Core, and Free Talk Live will take that money and invest it into the program so we can reach new people with the ideas of liberty and peace and cryptocurrency and the cool stuff that we talk about here on Free Talk Live. If you want to get behind the show, this is the best way to do it. Over at amp.freetalklive.com, and you get cool perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast. There's also an AMP-only Facebook group and more. So head over to amp.freetalklive.com and enjoy.
While they appeared as such, the pornographic images displayed were not actually Google ads. Google supposedly maintains tight controls on all ads that appear in what it calls designed for family apps. The company also...
So for listeners just tuning in, you're referring to a story where Google has pulled down dozens of apps from its Play Store.
Oh, more than dozens. 60.
About 60 of them, which that would be about 5 dozen.
Yeah, so dozens of apps from its Play Store over alleged malware being involved in them.
Malware being called Adult Swine.
That then displays a variety of pornographic images, as you were saying.
Yes, exactly. The company also maintains a waitlist of advertisers deemed safe for children under the ages of 13. None of the affected apps were part of the Google's Family Link program, which is the category of recognized kid-friendly apps available across users' platform, which actually sounds like it contradicts what it was said earlier, but maybe not.
What do you mean? I missed. What are you saying was contradictory?
So earlier in the story, it says that many of the apps were games reportedly geared towards children.
Well, you know, I guess this actually does kind of make sense because just because an app is geared towards children doesn't necessarily mean it's in the Family Link program, which is a set of apps. So that does make sense.
So the Family Link thing, as I understand it, just basically having heard you describe it.
Yeah, none of us are parents here, I don't believe so. Yeah.
Daryl technically is, but it's another story.
Okay.
Anyway, the Family Link would be like some sort of certification, right? This is a level of certification that Google
jumped
provides.
through a hoop.
Right. So we've looked at this. This looks like a legitimate thing. We're going to give it with its seal of approval with the Family Link certification. But that doesn't mean that the people who have families know about Family Link or are aware that it exists. And so you were reading during the break. I don't think you read any of these on the air, Daryl, of some of the software titles that were affiliated with this malware.
Correct.
Can you give us a sampling of these?
Yeah, and I can also tell you roughly how many downloads these have had. Five Nights Survival Craft has had between 1 and 5 million downloads.
That's a lot of downloads.
Something called McQueen Car Racing Game, between 500,000 and 1 million. Add-on Pixelmon for MCPE, also in that 500,000 to 1 million range. Pixelmon,
like
not Pokemon.
Oh, like Pokemon?
Not Pokemon.
Right.
Pixelmon. M-O-N. Drawing lesson.
I think Pokemon
Chibi.
is M-O-N as well.
Between 50,000 and 100,000. Drawing lesson Subway Surfer. Less than
awful.
50,000.
These games sound awful.
Drawing lesson
But they're
Lego
free.
Ninjago.
They're
So,
free, Ian.
It's the children
They're
that are
free.
installing these, right?
Blockcraft 3D. Easy Draw Octonauts.
I want to know if it's the adults who are installing these apps or if it's their children who are installing their apps. 'Cause I'm not sure who's.
Apparently, it's children.
Could be both.
It
could be both.
It could be both. Wasn't one of the reviews that you read off air said their child did it?
No.
It could be
the
both.
review says, do not install for your kids.
Maybe the
I
parent-
did, and my son opened it, and a bunch of filthy hardcore porn pictures
Okay.
popped up. So what it was, these fake ad things popped up, and apparently from what it sounds like, when you try to get rid of the ad, it downloads
More.
something.
Yeah.
That then tells you, like, you have a virus, you have malware.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure,
then
sure.
it'll pop up all of these ads on top of things that weren't the affected
I
thing.
bet a good percentage of the listeners actually can relate to this because this is such a problem on the desktop.
And it
Of
said
installing malware
On Windows, yeah.
said that one of the things that
Well, the
popped
scareware.
up was, click here, you could win an iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, who
Classic
doesn't
stuff.
want
I
to
mean,
win an iPhone?
Right, this stuff has been working for a long time.
Yeah, this
the
is-
free stuff option. It just draws people in. And if you're the kind of inexperienced internet user that would be interested in, what was it, Five Nights something craft?
5 Nights Survival Craft.
Five Nights Survival Craft. And that's obviously designed to riff off of Five Nights at Freddy's, which is
Right.
an incredibly popular horror game, indie horror game that blew up in popularity. We talked earlier about the videos of people playing games. There's the React channel on YouTube where they have gamers, they have people play a variety of scary games sometimes, and it's pretty amusing to watch people react to scary games because they jump when the jump scares
Right.
happen and they get freaked out. But if you're that disconnected from the gaming culture and you're just going around randomly installing games that have the worst sounding titles,
Stickman Fighter 2018.
I mean, my
Less
God.
than 50 installs.
Well, it's 2018. It probably just came out.
How to Draw Animal World of the Nut Job 2.
That's the
Less
one title?
Than 5. That is one title.
How to Draw Animal World of the Nut Job 2.
Yes.
That's just a random bunch
How
of words.
to Draw Batman Legend in Lego style.
Wow.
Less than 5. How to Draw Coco and the Land of the Dead. Less than 50.
Coco and the Land of the Dead.
How to Draw Dangerous Snakes and Lizard Species. Also less than 5.
So but there was one in there that was like 1 million or something like that. There were a lot of downloads.
There
on one of
were only the one had more than 1 million. That's
Which one was
Five
that?
Nights Survival Craft.
Right.
And then there were 2 that had between 500,000 and 1 million. McQueen car racing game. McQueen
kids aren't looking for Steve McQueen.
Well, hold on. No. McQueen was the name of the car in the Disney movie Cars.
Oh. Wow.
And then add on Pixelmon for MCPE. And again, my guess is that somebody, you accidentally misspelled Pokemon. Yep, looks close enough.
Okay. So I was wondering what MCPE, Minecraft PE stands for. So that's what MCPE is.
And a
Pocket
bunch of
Edition.
these have MCPE thrown in.
So they're
or
getting
PE.
any kid.
Here's one, Exploration Pro Worldcraft, which I'm guessing probably people looking for World of Warcraft.
Could be.
Just typing something in a hurry.
Don't be lazy. Don't be, when it comes to the internet, be careful.
Subway Banana Surf Runner. There was something in here.
I almost want to see,
Exploration Girl.
Like if these actually were games, but they're not, it would be pretty entertaining to see just how bad they were. But don't you dare install this stuff on your phone.
Yeah.
Don't ever download things that you weren't specifically intending or that you knew in advance that it was good or you'd seen a review or you knew somebody else who had a positive experience. If you're off into the
I'm curious
weeds
what
of
this Subway Surf thing is, because a lot of these have Subway Surf or Subway Surfer in their name.
That's probably an actual game. called Subway
Temple
Surfer.
Crash Jungle Bandicoot. Not Crash Bandicoot, Temple Jungle. Temple Crash Jungle Bandicoot.
Subway Surfers is an endless runner mobile game co-developed by a couple different companies. Available Android, Kindle. So yeah, they're riffing on an existing game, trying to
drawing lesson Angry Birds.
Let's go to your calls here. Robert is in Vermont on the line here. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Chris, and Daryl.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Hey, if you got a chance to take a look at the Vermont's new marijuana legalization bill.
No, we actually had a detailed story tonight about that I brought in for show prep, but we just never got to the details.
My understanding is it will not have tax and regulate. That's being left up
Really?
That's being left up to a committee, so there will be no retail sales. They are only removing all penalties for everything less than 1 ounce and also allowing home grow. Of small amounts, like 2 plants, I think it is.
That's pretty great, though.
Well, the other thing that's really kind of cool is that, you know, if it reaches, geez, I hope I don't jinx this. If it reaches the governor's desk, and he's got 5 days to sign it.
He's going to sign it.
If he doesn't sign it,
he said he will.
It's happening.
Right.
He's pledged to sign it.
Right, but if he doesn't sign it, it automatically goes into law. You know.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay.
Right.
And that would be,
in most places.
Really
in most places, if the legislature is in session and the governor doesn't act, then it becomes law. If the legislature is not in session and the governor doesn't act, it gets vetoed.
Kudos to Vermont for being the first state to legalize recreational cannabis through the legislature.
Yes.
That's what makes this special. And Robert, congratulations to you, man, because you're living over there. I
49
appreciate
to go.
the call tonight. Hopefully New Hampshire will be sooner. Not 49 to go. There's several legal states. They did it by ballot.
That's true.
We'll see you tomorrow.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news, on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, January 12th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,332 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $55, and the average price of Bitcoin is $14,052.
Antiwar.com reports during the bilateral talks between North and South Korea this week, the U.S. Air Force deployed 3 nuclear-capable B-2 Spirit bombers to Guam, along with some 200 airmen. The Guam base has long been seen as the likely staging area for U.S. attacks against North Korea. Adding context to this deployment, while the U.S. never formally objected to the talks, there were reports at the time that the Trump administration was debating carrying out a limited sneak attack against North Korea. Though the reports on the attack suggested it was likely to be in the future, likely during the Winter Olympics, the deployment of the U.S. warplanes has doubtless added to military tensions on the Korean Peninsula, even as the negotiations sought to ease them somewhat. Putting nuclear-capable bombers in Guam on the eve of the Winter Olympics, and immediately after President Trump bragged about his nuclear button, doubtless will further inflame concerns throughout the region and serious fear of a war breaking out.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports a Republican lawmaker wants to give permanent residency to approximately 400,000 immigrants in the United States affected by the Trump administration's decision to end the Temporary Protected Status, TPS. But he also wants to end the TPS program entirely. The TPS Act of 2018, introduced by Representative Mike Kaufman of Colorado, would end the 28-year-old program while granting permanent legal residency to its recipients from El Salvador, Honduras, Haiti, and Nicaragua. The total number of people that could potentially be granted legal residency is approximately 462,000, many of whom have been in the country for nearly 30 years. In his calls to eliminate TPS altogether, Kaufman's bill addresses a major criticism of the program. TPS was created in 1990 to grant temporary residency to people from countries affected by war, natural disasters, and humanitarian disasters until those conditions were improved. But even after conditions improved, the State Department has continually renewed TPS for the program's recipients, prolonging their time in the United States. In effect, many have been in the country legally for decades, and going back to their home country would be an immense hardship. Earlier this week, the Trump administration announced an end to the TPS program for more than 200,000 Salvadorians who have been living in the country legally since 2001, when a major earthquake affected El Salvador. The administration previously announced an end to the TPS program for people from Haiti and Nicaragua. All TPS recipients from El Salvador, Haiti, and Nicaragua were given 18 months to return to their country or apply for other visas to stay in the United States.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Reuters reports the U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday passed a bill to renew the National Security Agency's warrantless internet surveillance program, overcoming objections from privacy advocates. The legislation, which passed 256 to 164 and split party lines, is the culmination of a years-long debate in Congress on the proper scope of U.S. intelligence collection, one fueled by the 2013 disclosures of classified surveillance records by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden. Some lawmakers attempted to persuade colleagues to include more privacy protections. They failed on Thursday to pass an amendment to include a requirement for a warrant before the NSA or other intelligence agencies could scrutinize communications belonging to an American whose data is incidentally collected. Thursday's vote was a major blow to privacy and civil liberties advocates. The bill, as passed by the House, would extend the NSA spying program for 6 years with minimal changes, with some privacy groups saying it would actually expand the NSA's surveillance powers. The Senate will hold a procedural vote on the bill next week after it returns from a break. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
My fellow sheep, election season is upon us. Are you one of the 12% of Americans who still approves of our government? Then we need your help to force the other 88% into compliance. Our democracy depends on it. We're an organization called Citizens Against Too Much Unfettered Freedom, or CATMUF. CATMUF is a bipartisan flock of sheep whose goal is expanding government until nothing else remains. because the government is here to help you. How can you help CatMuff help you? By only voting for candidates dedicated to expanding government. It's easy. You don't need to study the issues. No matter what a politician says when running for office, they're all dedicated to expanding government. And make sure you tell all your friends and family to vote for more government. Here at CatMuff, we don't care if you vote Democrat or Republican, as long as you vote for candidates committed to growing our federal family. CatMuff, because folks just aren't smart enough to handle real freedom.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Torchwood Report. I am Matthew Taylor, sitting alongside the one true Niz. Today is January 12th, 2018, and we have an action-packed show for you. But before I get into that, as always, I'm going to kick it over to Niz with our weekly announcement.
This broadcast is covered by the BIPCOT No Government License. That means that you are free to use or rebroadcast portions or segments of this show so long as you are not an agent or advocate for government. If you fail to heed this warning, you will be socially shamed. For more information, please visit bipcot.org. That's BIPCOT.org.
So Niz, we have a whole bunch of content here. We really didn't throw any order to it because it has just been a crazy week, and we know we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I say we just randomly go after one here and shoot from there. So where would you like to start?
Just jump in.
You want to start with some Trump? We haven't started with Trump in a long time.
Trump-a-lump.
Awesome. That sounds good. All right. Well, this week we're going to start off with President Donald Trump and the sanctions that are being lifted or waiving of the sanctions in the landmark 2015 nuclear deal. But at the same time as he extends the nuclear deal,
that's Obama's deal. That's the worst deal in history.
Trump,
right?
Right.
That's the worst deal in history.
Right. Now, as it was put to or put into words by Trump and several other people around the political world, as he's extending this he is putting non-nuclear sanctions in response to ballistic missile testing and also against the actions taken against the crackdown on government protesting. So in a background briefing with reporters, senior administration officials also warned that this will be the last such waiver, calling on a follow-up deal with Europeans and a legislative fix from Congress. The White House did announce Friday that it tends to keep alive for now an agreement that Trump has called the worst deal ever negotiated, while trying to project a continued hardline stance against the deal itself. So the Obama-era deal, which had the United States, Iran, China, France, Russia, and the United Kingdom, along with Germany, provided Tehran billions in sanctions relief in exchange for curbing its nuclear program. Trump and other critics say that the deal was flawed because several provisions basically did not address Iran's troubling activity, including its ballistic missile program and support for terrorist proxies such as Hezbollah. So, I mean, and I remember when this was being talked about all over the place in 2015, and that was one of the major things that was being talked about was the fact that, this hardline stance that had been in place for quite some time was being lifted, and actually that was when people were, the really hard right was coming out of the woodwork and starting to call Obama a terrorist again. That was around that time. So now, granted, back in 2015,
because the deal was poop.
As I was just saying, it drew a lot of criticism that right. But the thing is one of the things that Donald Trump, campaigned on was that he was going to end such deals. And to sit here and have it come up on the table and to extend it is, like, how do you think his supporters feel on that? I know I think it was, just part of the game that was expected. I think he did a lot of pandering during his campaigning process, but how do you feel about it? Where do you see where do you fall in line on this?
First, man, what I'll tell you is that although for right now this deal is still in place, he did say that he's not going to extend it again. He said, unless the agreement is amended to permanently block a potential pathway for Iran to build nuclear weapons. Basically, he said either kill it with me or I'm going to do it myself. So he's given a little bit of time for everybody to get their act together and figure out what exactly they're going to do here. But it's just, I don't know. I think the way a lot of the media is framing this as if like, whoa, look at Trump. He's like continuing on Obama's policies, and that's just totally not even